Morning, everybody. How we doing? Hope y'all are having a good one. What is up? I already see we got 14 people hanging out here in the chat. Probably got some people coming over from Common Censored. Fantastic channel, by the way. Lord Sterling tearing it up every evening from around 5:45-ish to uh, around 8:45, 9-ish, something like that. They cover some great stuff over there. So thank you to everybody who joined from the raid. I saw that earlier. Let me go ahead and check and make sure the audio and video are coming through loud and clear on the Rumble app here. By the way, if you haven't downloaded that yet, I enjoy using it and think it's pretty darn good. If you were here in the early days of Rumble, it has come a long way. So the app has definitely improved. Let me look here. Make sure we are rolling. What's up, Mama Mac and JJRSVL? Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Looks like we're good. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I hope everybody had a solid week. And even if you didn't have a solid week, I hope you at least had a neutral week, because there's nothing wrong with just trucking along if that's all you can do. So, my house has had the crud for the past 2 weeks. The petri dish that is public school. A couple of us tested positive for COVID. I feel like it's just the summer crud. I was feeling better after a couple days, but I take my vitamins and also get out in the sun and sweat it out when I need to. So I think that probably helped me out a little bit. Lady Dozer, she had a little bit rougher go of it this time, not gonna lie, but she's on the upswing. She'll probably be able to actually get back to work tomorrow, so that's good. But oh, look at that, we got getting her done. What's up? You got the dog in bed? Good deal, good deal. And I will try my best to keep up with chat. But if I do miss something, my apologies. A good way to make sure that I don't miss it, or at least increase the likelihood that I won't miss it, is if you send a Rumble rant. But nobody ever has to send me a Rumble rant. So this channel, kind of the purpose, if you're new here, my goal is to inform and entertain. That's the whole reason behind this channel. I've been very involved in world events, politics, stuff like that ever since I was around 16 or 17. So I'm 33 now, almost 34 actually. I'll be 34 on September 18th when they might be sentencing President Trump to prison. That'd be a hell of a birthday present, wouldn't it? Let's hope not. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't think they're that crazy. Do you guys think they're that crazy? I don't know. Maybe he's drunk enough with power. I mean, his daughter sure has gotten millions of dollars. So got all of the McGroin folks here. Thank you so much. McGroin Nation on Rumble. I forgot to put my link out over there on the McGroin channel. My bad. I usually remember to post there. Yanni Fangs, how you doing? Appreciate you coming. Oh, man. Had the power out for a minute, huh? Major storms. Well, stay safe, Yanni Fangs. Don't get blown away, man. Don't get blown away. Gets dangerous down there in Florida. I used to have family living down there, and they moved back up to Missouri, but they got sick of the storms after about the second or third rough one, and that and the falling iguanas, I suppose, was a little bit annoying. Apparently, when it gets cool enough down there, they have warnings of falling iguanas because they're reptiles, they're cold-blooded creatures, and when it gets cold enough, well, they'll fall out of the trees and they might land on your head. Infotainment, that's right. Infotainment. That is the goal. If I can help get somebody a little bit more informed and do it in a mostly lighthearted way, although Dark Dozer apparently shows up every now and then. That day that I was sick, right before when I was in the throes of the Wu flu, I was a little bit grumpier than normal, and so I had some pretty fun rants. Oh, we have a dancing banana. Pinning that. I love that. It's good stuff. Yes, getting her done. Yes. Well, thank you guys. So, JJR, all right. I will definitely do so. Appreciate you, JJR. Thank you to everybody who's joining. If you have not smashed that like button yet, go ahead and do that for me. Smash it. Caress it. Tap it if you like. Nibble it on its ear. Whisper sweet nothings. That's Joe Biden. Don't do that. Don't be like old creepy Uncle Joe. Can't be like that. I suppose he probably wouldn't do it unless they were related to him. Oh, that's a little bit rough. It's a little bit rough, but it's true. It's true, according to her diary. And she was the one that was speaking at the DNC. How weird is that, guys? How weird is that? Nonsense. Nonsense. But what's up, Salt Dumpster? Thank you so much for hanging out. Saw you over there in good lord. Why am I drawing a blank on this channel's name? It's got he's got the VTuber kind of thing going on. My God, I'm blanking on it. I like his chat though. His chat gets a little bit spicy. It's fun. I like it. I am all for free speech here. So, and that's one of the things that's great about Rumble. It is a free speech platform. But please, no threats of violence, threats to end anybody. Don't do that. Don't do that. But what's up, Mr. RWS82? Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate everybody choosing to take some time out of their evening to hang out with me. We do have some topics lined up today. And I actually I think I was able to find one of the things that I was looking for, unlike last time. So I'm a little bit better prepared this time, hopefully. We do have some topics. Going to probably get into these a little bit earlier than normal. I know I tend to ramble a bit for the first 30 minutes or so, but the wife's still, recovering from the ick. So probably going to try to wrap this up before midnight tonight. And I did keep it to 2 hours and 42 minutes last time. So I didn't lie. I kept it under 3 hours, but depends, I guess, on how much fun we're having. If you have not followed me here, go ahead and click the follow button. If you so choose, you can also subscribe to the channel. One of the good things about being a subscriber is you get your name highlighted in this lovely, subtle yet noticeable red tint. So your name will stick out in the chat. It's $5 a month, so not too terribly much. You also get custom emotes if you're on the browser. And I believe I've got 12 custom emotes. And then I have, I think, 6 or 8 general emotes for people who are not subscribers to the channel. Either way, I appreciate anybody who is watching. Thank you so much. To people who are not watching live, I appreciate you as well. Let's check on our people over on X, because I am streaming to Rumble, X, and YouTube. YouTube, every now and then we get a view or two. That's not where my main focus is, though. My main focus is going to be on a free speech platform like Rumble. So, diddle the button. Everyone loves it. Yes, Salt Dumpster. Yes, absolutely. Let's see how we're going over here. Check on my X peeps, because we do have people that watch us on X. Definitely appreciate you. We got 12 people watching over there on X. Gonna pin this to the top of my account. If you haven't followed me on X, my account is at Bulldozer74__. We are getting close to 1,500 followers on X, guys. There you go, Salt Dumpster. There you go. Coming in hot and heavy with the emotes. There you go. There you go. They're applicable. They're very applicable. We've got some Pepes. We've got Steve Harvey. We've got a shocked turtle. All the important emotes. Those are the ones you really need. They're really, really important. Express yourself with emotes. Not gonna lie, one of my there we go. Pinned it to the top. Got 15 over there on X. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, look at that. Oh, we've got some things to talk about, y'all. We've got some things to talk about. So, apparently, first topic that we're going to discuss today. Apparently, according to the Department of Justice and all the media right now, the Russians, Russia, they're the worst. Apparently, we are still in the Cold War. Okay, I just want to point out really quick. If you guys have been paying attention like I have, let's go back to the 2012 debates where Romney, that snake of a son of a, that snaky bastard, Romney and Obama were going back and forth in the debate and in the debate, and they were asked who the most who the biggest geopolitical enemy or geopolitical rival was. And Romney, without missing a beat, said Russia, of course. And Obama kind of mocked him and made fun of him and said, you might want to check the calendar. We're not in the Cold War anymore. And then not like 5 years later, not let's see, 4 years later, guys, apparently everything is Russia's fault. And I'm not saying Russia is innocent or anything like that. They do some messed up stuff. But the insanity that we've seen, you go back to the Steele dossier, everyone's saying that Trump was a Putin puppet and all that nonsense. It just continues and builds and builds. They eased up off of it for a little bit, but now it's in full swing again, guys. Full swing. Russia, guys. It's back. Apparently, some hardcore right-wing influencers like Tim Pool. He's not right-wing. He's not a lefty. He says he's libertarian left, which I kind of think you can't really be that. You really can't. Liberal libertarian. I think it's a bit of a contradiction there. But that's usually what he says he is. He says he's not a right winger, and says he's pro-choice and stuff like that. He definitely is a. You like that? Like that, what's up, Lord Sterling? Thanks for the raid, by the way, bud. Appreciate the heck out of you. If you guys haven't watched Common Censored, excellent channel to follow. Go over and follow them. If you're using the Rumble app, you can actually minimize your video and cruise around Rumble now. So that is an excellent update from Rumble. Kudos to them. Really like being able to go around and check my stuff, check other people's stuff. So appreciate the heck out of y'all. But yes, I ain't giving you no 350 Loch Ness monster. If you guys saw that placeholder video, my 9-year-old helped do the voice of the Loch Ness monster. So, and they're in the Girl Scouts. We actually had our first Girl Scout of the year. We had the first Girl Scout meeting of the year. Just general stuff, getting their outfits and stuff. $40 though. $40 for the Girl Scouts outfit. It's a little rough. And they told us that we had to buy one of the shirts from Walmart because they didn't have enough of the little white collared shirts. I'm like, well, am I going to get refunded $5? Like, what's going on here? I'm very confused. But yeah, $40 for the vest and a shirt, I suppose, unless there are shorts that I don't know about. I was wrangling an 18-month-old as well, and we were at a park for some reason instead of our normal location, which was a little bit annoying. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit frustrating, but we got it done. So appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat there. Looks like you're having a good time. Good stuff. Right. Hey, you know what? Either way you want to view, support using either the browser on your computer, your mobile device, the app, all are welcome through whatever means you choose to watch. Much appreciated. But Russia, guys, it's the Russians. They're coming after us. They kind of are. But here's the thing. Every country that is our rival is trying to influence our population. They're trying to influence elections, just like we do, just like our country. So act like this is some shocking thing that's been going on is disingenuous or ignorant. I'm not sure which one. From the media, I would say just disingenuous. From the populace, who is not as informed as myself or some of y'all might be, that's it doesn't hold water. The constant accusation of Russia being the big bad. They want World War III. I would say that we kind of already are in World War III, but that's just me. You look back at what was going on in the early 1900s, as far as the sociopolitical saber rattling and jockeying. There are some very, very disturbing parallels, we'll say. So we're going to talk about TENET Media. Apparently, the creators that were had their content hosted on TENET Media, apparently they were unwitting stooges of Russian propaganda. But if you watch their content, there doesn't appear to be Russian propaganda. There just appears to be people who don't agree with the Ukrainian war or might not like Kamala Harris. And apparently that's Russian propaganda. That's just Russian propaganda if you support Trump. Even though Putin literally just came out and said that he supports Kamala Harris. So, which that's a little bit trolly for Putin, but also accurate. Of course, they wanted Biden, and Biden wants. He said, "Well, Biden, asked his allies to support Kamala, so we're gonna do that." Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you've got Tim Pool, Matt Christiansen, Lauren Southern, who else? Taylor Hansen, um, Benny Johnson. Those are, I think, the five biggest ones that were on Tenet. Matt Christiansen has a great show, by the way, with Matt and Blonde. It's on Sundays. Great stuff. They're on after Viva and Barnes. So I usually watch Viva and Barnes for the weekly update on the legal stuff, and then usually go over to watch Matt and Blonde on the Matt Christiansen show. They've been addressing this. I do have a statement from Tim Pool that we're going to read that I think is rather eloquent and entertaining, in my opinion. But we do have an article that we're going to read through as well for this Tenet story. Apparently, apparently Lauren Chen and her husband were involved in covering things up as far as the funding for this organization, Tenet Media. My thing is, if they didn't have any control over the content or the type of coverage, why does it matter? Why aren't we looking at all the other media organizations and looking at their funding? How many of these organizations are funded? These media organizations are funded by Big Pharma. And those big pharma companies, how many of them are either directly funded by foreign interests or international actors, sometimes bad actors? So unless you can demonstrate that they had some form of moderation over the content, I think it's a bit of a nothing burger. That's just my opinion. I think it's a bit of much ado about nothing. Barnes, apparently, with Viva and Barnes, did a thorough breakdown of the indictment. I'm not a lawyer, so you could go check that out. What's up, Lady Hamilton Art? Thank you so much for joining us. Follow Lady Hamilton Art, by the way. She has a channel where she does videos. I think it's on Sunday or Saturday. I think I was mowing the lawn on a Sunday when I was listening to her last time. Great conversations. She's got some good food content as well, so check out Lady Hamilton Art. She also has a website where she does online schooling for high school age kids, and they've got some really good stuff there. So go check out Lady Hamilton Art. What's up, Donna1437 or 1437? Sam Duty, first time I think I've seen you here. Used to get your Boy Scout. Hey, you know what? I might have to check that out. Goodwill has some good finds. People might hate on Goodwill, but you know what? I think they have some really nice finds every now and then. You can find some good suits there. They might be a little bit dated, but you know what? Retro's a thing, right? Bringing back some classic fashion. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if you haven't yet done this, either follow the channel. We hit 362 followers recently. Much appreciated to everybody who follows this small channel. We're at stream number 19, so almost 20 weeks in a row. I did have to skip one because of a work trip. Not next week, but the week after that, I will also be out of town on Thursday. So I'm going to have to do my stream on Wednesday night, I believe. I think that's the plan anyways. Don't want to leave you guys hanging for a week without a show. But we are going to talk about, getting back to our little appetizer here, our appetizer for topics. We're going to talk about the Tenet stuff. We're going to read through some articles here, talk about the spin that is currently going on with it. We're then going to roll into Crowder with Mug Club Undercover. They have a tasty little story from the Chief of Public Affairs for the Southern District of New York for the Department of Justice. Had some undercover video of him just being downright blunt and honest about the bullshit that's been going on with the lawfare against Trump. The guy seems like a legit individual. He seems like somebody who wants to do the right thing, but there's only so much you can do in these organizations. And I understand that. I understand that there are times that you can have strong held values and beliefs, and you can do what you can do on your level, but you might not be able to save the world. And that's a rough thing to realize. But as you get along in life, it's kind of the case. Sometimes you think maybe you get up into a higher position, middle management or something like that, feel like you might be able to affect some change in a more positive way for the individuals that you serve. Sometimes that doesn't happen. And you know what? Sometimes that's where you need to do a little bit of a shakeup as far as your mentality, well, not mentality, but your execution of your values and how you choose to help others. It sounds like this guy, I heard brief snippets. I didn't hear the whole thing because I kind of want to watch it and react to it live with you guys so that you get my, natural reaction. I heard bits and pieces because I was listening to Tim Bull actually talk about it earlier, and he played some bits and pieces of it, but I didn't hear the whole thing. So most of it's going to be fresh to my ears, as it is to some of y'all's. So we'll be learning together. Oh man, I missed a lot that's going on here in the chat. Goodwill put. You know what? Hey, ain't no shame in that. Ain't no shame in a short bus, all right? It's easier to get off that bus. Find your seat a lot quicker. Nothing wrong with a short bus, people. Some of them, I'm not going to lie, some of the nicest individuals that I've, worked with, or some of the just the kindest, most pure souls are some of the ones with like some people with developmental disabilities. And not the case for everybody. Just because somebody has a developmental disability does not mean that they are going to be a nice person or a good person. There's some tough boogers out there for sure. But yeah, nothing wrong with a short bus. Nothing wrong with a short bus. At least the thumbs up. I like that. I like that. Hit it 3 times. Hit it. Then hit it again. And then wait, you got rid of it. So you probably need to hit it. If you hit it twice, you probably should hit it a third time. That's good. It's good advice there, Salt Dumpster. Good advice. Yep. Yep. Some of the purest souls. Not going to lie. And they appreciate the heck out of you when you help them out. So that's really nice. It's nice to be appreciated when you help somebody. Oh. But Crowder's undercover coverage, I really am liking what they've taken a page out of James O'Keefe's book, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's actually. You know what? It's getting there. At first, I said that it wasn't on par with the O'Keefe Media Group or what used to be Project Veritas, which Project Veritas is still doing their thing, but it just doesn't have that zing, guys. It doesn't have the zing because James O'Keefe was the personality. He was the draw. For something like that, you have to have a draw. What does it have now? What is the face of Project Veritas? They don't have it anymore. James O'Keefe is the draw. I mean, the guy's a theater guy. He's a performer. It helps. Really good stuff coming out from Crowder. And they've got a whole apparatus that they're building up to... it's the strongest. Well, I got to make a joke here. They got that special kind of strength, man. They got that special kind of strength, Salt Dumpster. Just... Oh, we got to keep it. We got to keep it funny. We got to keep it funny, guys. We got to make jokes. We got to make jokes. Oh, the gallows humor. The gallows humor is what makes a shit sandwich a little bit more palatable, right, guys? That's how I view it, anyways. After we get done talking about Crowder's little scoop with the DOJ, and I guess they might have had a release talking about that. Might not have been the guy's actual views. Yeah, no. He's probably got a little bit of a bad guy for talking. After we get done talking about that one, we are going to roll into the Trump Q&A with Hannity. Good old Wallbanger. If any of you guys have ever listened to Michael Savage, that's what he called Sean Hannity, the Wallbanger. Man, Michael, I haven't listened to Michael Savage in years, and I think he died, didn't he? I'm fairly sure Michael Savage died. If I'm incorrect in that assumption, my bad, Mike. But yeah, he had some really good. I listened to him, years ago, and he would refer to Hannity as the Wallbanger because Hannity, he has good points, but honestly, he just rubs me the wrong way. He does some good stuff, so I'll give him credit for that. And he gets Trump on, and Trump loves him. Trump loves Hannity. You can tell. and they have a good rapport. So it's good to see them kind of going back and forth. Trump had a town hall because Kamala ran like a scared little bitch and didn't want to debate Trump on Fox News because, oh no, somebody who's not going to actually hold water for me, somebody who's not going to go ahead and cover for me and try to fact check and debate Trump along with me. I need a buddy. She's not going to, you know what? Kamala was trying to change the rules of the debate that they do have coming up, I think on the 10th, maybe. I'm not 100% sure when this debate is. But her campaign keeps trying to change the rules that were already agreed to. They want to have the mics on the whole time because they think that Trump can't be disciplined enough. And they might be right. But looking at how Trump did against Biden when his mic was muted, there were a couple times where he was saying, you could see he was saying something, but of course you couldn't hear him because the mic was muted. But honestly, he was more measured. And if he can keep it measured and keep it focused, he's a titan for a debater, just to be honest. Now, if he starts kind of meandering about and getting a little bit, off in the weeds, while it's entertaining as hell and I love watching it, independents and people more moderate might not like that. So it actually worked against them in the Biden-Trump debate. And that's what, they offered up Joe Biden's almost lifeless corpse as a sacrificial lamb so that they could bring in their DEI hire, or DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity. I say DIE because when you make that the focus of your country, your culture dies and your country dies. Just a sad truth. Focus on what's important. Maybe not skin color. Who cares? Who cares what your skin color is? Who cares what genitalia you have? Who cares what sexual orientation you have? Although I will say that there is an interesting population. I saw this graph just a few minutes before hopping on the show, actually scrolling through Tim Pool's X feed to try to find his comment. And apparently the trans females, so men who are generally confused, their rate of offending on people is insanely high. And the rate of reoffending is insanely high in that population. I'm not surprised by that. You hear enough stories about it, and it kind of just happens. Tends to go along with the territory, doesn't it? Sad but true. Sad but true. So we're going to watch the Q&A, and then we are going to roll into our fourth topic, which honestly, I would say that it's a gray pill. It's white. The fourth topic is going to be the Georgia shooting. We're going to talk about that because we got to. We're going to talk about what we know so far. Exactly. Well, imagine my shock. We are going to talk about the Georgia shooting. Just saw a recent article about the father. Apparently, he's been charged with involuntary manslaughter and murder, second-degree murder associated with the shooting. We'll talk about that. There's a lot of philosophical implications with something like that. If they can make the case that he was careless with his weapons and made it easy for that kid to have that little monster, made it okay for him to have a weapon with like unfettered access, a 14-year-old with unfettered access to an AR who is mentally unstable and has been literally, say the line, Fed boys, say the line. He was on our radar. Yeah, he fucking was. Yet another one, y'all. Yet another one. And how crazy is it? How crazy is it? Maybe I got my tin hat on just a little bit too tight. But how crazy is it that we got the full Tranifesto from that crazy lady Audrey Hale down in Tennessee, I think, wasn't it? How crazy is it that we get the full Tranifesto earlier this week and then bam, another school shooting? Just a coincidence. Just a coincidence, y'all. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Yeah, I don't know, guys. That Tranifesto was interesting. I heard some coverage of it, didn't actually read through it, but there was no reason for that to be kept away from the public. There really wasn't. So we're going to talk about the shooting a little bit, and then we are going to cover a couple little high notes. The second to last little story, we've got a clip from Eric Weinstein. Weinstein. I don't think he's Weinstein, because Weinstein was the Harvey fella. So, or Jeffrey. No, wait, it's Weinstein, not Weinstein, because it was Epstein, and he doesn't want to be associated with Epstein. Whatever. I'm not sure. But Eric was talking to somebody, and he eloquently laid out the case for essentially the New World Order. And there's a dark aspect to his 5 minutes or so. We might watch a 15-minute clip because the dude just speaks very well, and it was a very good discussion. But he kind of thinks that they might not allow Trump back in. But the great thing about it is that the conversation's out there. And that's kind of where I'm going to spin it, the white pill aspect. So there's the dark part, then the light part. So it's kind of a gray pill little clip there. But I think it's good that the conversation's occurring. So, and then the last one, we've got a little clip from we're going to find the clip in the Lex Friedman interview with Trump talking about the wacky tobacco. Ending on a high note, fellows and ladies. Just two funny or happy, well, two just kind of good little stories there at the end. So we're going to end on a high note there. I think it would help people out. So before we go ahead and get into the meat of the show here, we're 30 minutes in. Rumble has the Rumble Ad Center, and they let small creators like me make a couple extra bucks by reading an ad every now and then. So if you guys don't mind me, I am going to read a short ad for Rumble. Sponsor of this show tonight is Rumble Premium. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversations or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France and Brazil and Russia. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, that's important. Don't ever put yourself out. If you got the extra, if you want to support a free speech platform, Rumble Premium is available. One major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we're just happy if you watch us here on Rumble. I absolutely agree. Great stuff. Rumble Premium is there. It's worth checking out. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, might do one or two of those again. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling froggy, we'll see. So the first topic, guys, let's get into the meat. Let's get into the meat of the day, week, I suppose. TENET Media is a media organization that was developed, I guess, within the last couple of years. I've enjoyed the people that are on TENET Media, and from what I can see, I don't notice any Russia propaganda on these from these creators. Matt Christiansen, Taylor Hansen, Tim Pool. Tim Pool's got a funny little blurb that we're going to read here in a minute. But apparently, the from what I understand, the indictment is flimsy at best. Just as most things with our Department of Justice with Russia. Russia's the big bad boogeyman, guys. It's the worst. It's the worstest ever. the worstest country ever, and they're coming to get us. They're going to flip our cool side of the pillow over and make it hot. That's what Russia does. I tell you what. Damn commie bastards. I mean, they are commies, but they're definitely, their influence is far overblown. If you look back into the 2016 stuff, right? The Steele dossier, where they said that Russia was essentially in control of it, and Trump Trump had hookers pee on a bed that Obama slept in once in Russia. What kind of story was that even? It was a joke at a bar. That's what started the whole thing. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. They never found any Russia collusion. They did the whole Mueller report. It was all bullshit. It was bullcrap from the day it happened, the day that it came out. They kept using it even in the last election, though. So I guess earlier when I was saying that they kind of backed off of it, nah, they really haven't. And they've actually escalated. So that was an incorrect statement earlier. They haven't backed off. They have made Russia Germany from the 40s. They've made Putin Hitler. Putler. Yeah. He's not. Now, we shouldn't take him lightly or take Russia lightly, because they are a huge country and they have vast resources. So we shouldn't take them lightly. But they are not the boogeyman that the media makes them out to be. What's up, Tim Pool's Gay Music? Thanks for joining. Appreciate everybody. Got Rotex Hippie, lords and ladies, and I'm a peasant. Oh, you know what? We need all types for society to function. Peasants have their place. You know, I actually was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of random. All right. We're squirreling early. But, all right. You guys know about the caste system in India. Have different classes of people. We don't function like that as a society. But my God, if you get on the internet, guys, I swear maybe India has it right. Maybe the caste system is not that far off. If you can bring yourself out of your caste and demonstrate that you're, I don't know, at a level that you can function at a little bit different level than others, maybe you don't need to be in that caste. I don't know. Random thought. We'll let that set and simmer. You guys think about that one. Maybe that makes me a horrible person. I don't know. But, oh my gosh. Bring back the caste system. Oh, society probably doesn't function better that way, but my goodness, sometimes it's like, gosh, I think some people just need to kind of do their own thing in their own area. Just you stay over in that section, we'll stay over in this section, and it'll be okay. I don't know. That's random thought. But anyways, Russia is not the boogeyman. Russia is not going to be the big bad. They are worth taking seriously, though, and worth a strong hand, which is what we're missing as a country right now. Right now, guys, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we don't have a president. And we haven't for years, but it's just glaringly obvious now. The man went on vacation, came back for a day, and then went back on vacation. The last time I saw him speak, you couldn't even understand what he said. But people still clapped. They clapped like fucking seals. Arf, arf, arf. Happy that the old bag of bones is up there clapping away like he said something profound, when literally he could just be, it's like the Family Guy clip. 9/11. Terrorists are bad. But he's not even able to say that. He just mushmouths his way through a statement. And they clap. And I just don't. Do they have subtitles? Do they have subtitles that we can't see, that they can actually understand what the man's saying? Like, are they looking at the teleprompter? Because it's really big from what I understand. So if they're right behind him, they can probably read those letters or read the words. I don't know. I can't pretend to understand what the hell they find worth clapping for. But yeah. Bunch of nonsense. That's a good point there, Lord Sterling. Titles of nobility aren't banned here, technically. Interesting. I guess you guys remember established titles? You could be a lord or a lady and get yourself a little square foot or a square inch of land in Scotland or something, right? Oh, that was a gag gift. People thought that was real. And I guess maybe, I don't know. It was just funny. It was a funny little thing there. So So apparently, Tenet Media, guys, Tenet Media was working with a couple Russian actors. So individuals that worked with Russia that didn't register as the Foreign Agent Registration Act, I think is what the FAR stands for. From the sound of it, they probably should have. But how often are people actually prosecuted for such a thing? That's my question. How often are people actually brought up on charges for being a foreign agent? And I gotta wonder. I mean, I I think this is. I feel like this is a nothing burger, y'all. I think it was Scotland, Lord Sterling, either Scotland or Ireland, but established titles was something where you could quote unquote buy a square foot of land and you would get a certificate and everything. And it was this big video, like big ad. A lot of YouTubers, like the quartering for the longest was shilling it until he kind of got a lot of bad attention for it. That and those knives that were really cheap, but they said they were the best knives ever. Um, just it was a bit scammy, but it also it was Scotland. It was, yep. But you shouldn't. I mean, I don't know if you believed that, then okay, but pretty sure it was a scam. Pretty sure it was a scam. Um, gosh, Mm, good times, good times. But apparently, they had a somebody who was the funder or the man the guy with the purse or the guy with the wallet, Edward Gregorio, I think was the alias that was provided. Apparently that person didn't exist, and it was like $10 million or so coming from Russia to influence media in this country. It honestly, from the sound of it, reading a little bit of the indictment that I did, it sounds like Russian actors just wanted a voice for Russia a little bit. Not necessarily even propaganda, just a different perspective. And like I said, the content that I've watched from these individuals, the content from Tim Pool was the Culture War podcast, which deals with more, you know, cultural issues. They do politics here and there, but they've had great discussions about like the simulation theory with priests or with preachers and you know scientists. It was a great discussion I was watching the other day about this. The whole simulation theory, which if you boil it down, is honestly just a sci-fi way of saying a creator. That's what simulation theory is. You have a creator outside of it, but every single part of the simulation the creator is involved in, the programmer is involved in. And yeah, I mean, that sounds like God, the creator, made the universe and is present within, but not directly like reachable within the universe. It's like, okay, you're just simulation theory is just a sci-fi way of saying God and creation. That's just my opinion. And it was a really cool conversation from the Culture War podcast. It sounds like Tenet Media has disbanded. I did see that shortly before hopping on here. I haven't heard any updates from Lauren Chen. The indictment does not indicate that the personalities, Taylor Hansen, Poole, Benny Johnson, Matt Christiansen, Lauren Southern, doesn't indicate that they were involved in any Russia meddling or direct Russia influence from Russia. But it says that Lauren Chen and her husband apparently duped the creators that they had on their payroll. I seriously, guys, I think it's a bit of a nothing burger. Let's go ahead and look at this article from Forbes. I was going to do the AP, but I am sick and tired of reading AP articles. Um, it's Associated Propaganda instead of the Associated Press. It used to be, at least they used to try kind of to appear neutral. Doesn't look like they're even trying anymore. They are just as bad as, MSNBC, honestly. That's just my opinion. That's what it looks like. You guys can decide for yourselves and read for yourself. Do not ever take what I say as gospel. I'm going to report some facts, but I'm also going to give my opinion. And if you find evidence that contradicts what I've said, then please let me know. You can send me a message on X. Follow me over there on X. We're at 1,437 the last I checked on X. Not viewers, but followers. To my X people watching. think we've got 35 people watching over there on X. Not seeing anything in the live chat, but I do see you there. So thank you guys so much reposting that to get some eyes. And we've got 37 people here watching on Rumble. If you haven't smashed that like button, go ahead and give it a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a thump, maybe, if you like. You can be rough with it. You can be soft with it. Whichever. I'm not judging. Either way. But let's go ahead and look at this article from Forbes. Details what was going on, apparently. This is from 9:03 a.m., so there have been updates to the story, but I did like the little bit that I kind of did. I did a cursory glance of this article, so we're going to go ahead and read through that real quick here. Come on up, start screen share. Narrating my actions like a boomer, because that's what we're doing today. So, according to Forbes, breaking. These right-wing pundits were allegedly funded by Russia. What to know about the DOJ indictment? This is by Silat. Oh, that's a hard name right there. Silatitya. Ray? Okay, Ray. That's a little bit easier. Forbes staff. The New Delhi-based Forbes news team. Well, that kind of explains it, doesn't it? Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of your name there. So the top line. The Justice Department filed an indictment Wednesday accusing the Kremlin of pouring millions into a media company linked to prominent online right-wing commentators as part of an influence operation pushing pro-Russia propaganda and disinformation on social media. Big scary. We're not going to read through the key facts. Sounds like that's if you just want to not read the article, but oh well, shoot. Maybe we do need to go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these key facts. The DOJ's indictment does not name the Tennessee-based online content creation company that received the Russian funding, but the description matches TENET Media, which describes itself as a network of heterodox commentators that focus on Western political and cultural issues. TENET's website lists 6 prominent right-wing social media personalities: Tim Pool, Benny Johson, Dave Ruben. Dave Ruben, that's the one I was leaving out. I forget him sometimes. Dave Ruben, Lauren Southern, Taylor Hansen, and Matt Christiansen as part of its talent roster. The DOJ's indictment alleges 2 Russian state media employees covertly poured $10 million into the company to publish English-language videos on various social media platforms, spouting views that are often consistent with the government of Russia's interest in amplifying U.S. domestic divisions. That sounds like a lot of mealy mouth. That sounds pretty mealy mouth, doesn't it? Little bit. Oh. Rotex hippie. Lauren Chen as a Russian spy makes her even hotter. She's a good-looking woman. I'll give her that. God bless her. So TENET's YouTube channel, which has more than 315,000 subscribers, features segments from Poole, Johson, Christiansen's online shows, mostly focusing on conservative, political, and culture war issues. The DOJ's indictment doesn't accuse the right-wing influencers, which it identifies only as Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 of any wrongdoing, and instead suggests they were deceived by the company's 2 founders and the Russian state media operatives. Interesting. Yeah, Lord Sterling, that's the vibe I'm getting. So they're just promoting things that already exist and happen to be against Ukraine. That's why I'm saying this is a nothing burger. I don't think this is as big of a deal as they're acting like it is, but it's the same rabid approach as we saw in 2016 and 2017. Russia is the big bad, and they've got to make them the boogeyman, and they've got to make a big deal out of it and act like it matters when honestly I don't think it does. So when the influencers asked about the company's funding source, the founders allegedly lied and told them they were sponsored by a private investor named Edward Gregorian, a fictional persona, according to the indictment. So that's the issue. If Lauren Chen and her husband had made up this character, made up this alias, and were acting like this was a real person, that's a freaking problem. And apparently, Lauren Chen got fired from the Blaze. She was working with Blaze Media. And if you guys have paid attention to Lauren Chen recently, she's actually been anti-Trump, which is kind of confusing that they're going to go with this messaging if she's being paid by the Russians and is an influencer for Russia's interest and she's against Trump. Well, doesn't that mean that Russia isn't pro-Trump? Maybe he's not a Putin puppet? Just saying. Just saying. It's not very consistent there, is it? We're up to 49 people watching over on X. Appreciate you wherever you may be watching. So, how have the influencers reacted to this news? Many of the influencers listed in TENET's roster have millions of followers on social media and video sharing platforms like X and YouTube. While the DOJ's indictment doesn't name any of them, it notes that commentators, I'm guessing they meant to put 2 there because they did earlier, had over 2.4 million and 1.3 million YouTube subscribers, respectively. Ruben's channel has 2.45 million subscribers on YouTube, while Pool's channel has 1.37. In a post on X, Pool said his podcast, The Culture War, was only licensed by Tenet Media for broadcast on its YouTube channel and Rumble, and he never produced any content for Tenet. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims. Putin is a scumbag. You didn't finish his final comment there. Come on. Come on, Forbes. You didn't want to include Tim Pool's full statement? We'll read Tim Pool's full statement here in a moment. So said Putin is a scumbag, Pool added. Johson, who has 2.39 million subscribers on YouTube, also commented on the indictment on X, saying his lawyers had negotiated a standard arm's-length deal with a media startup last year, which was later terminated. He then added, "We are disturbed by the allegations in today's indictment, which make clear that myself and other influencers were victims in this alleged scheme." Key background. Investigations by U.S. intelligence agencies, lawmakers, and special counsel Robert Mueller concluded that Russia conducted an expansive campaign, including online disinformation and hacking, to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. That's an interesting spin on that. They tried, just as multiple foreign actors do, but what was the effect? Did the effect actually occur? Were people influenced by Russia to vote differently? That's the key point. Every country has disinformation apparatus working within our own country and working to influence our media to sway the elections. It's not just Russia. Keep that in mind. There was another Chinese spy, guys. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York. She had herself a Chinese spy on the campaign, working with her and working in New York government for, I think, 15 years. What is it with these Democrats and the Chinese spies, huh? Yeah, you had old Eric Fartwell and Fang Fang. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I guess they were the wrong commies. The Russians are the wrong commies. The Chinese are the good ones. Whatever. So, in 2018, a grand jury in the District of Columbia indicted 12 Russian military intelligence officers for hacking into Democrat candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee. The indictment was part of Mueller's investigation, which found that Russia-linked actors had carried out an extensive social media campaign using fake accounts to help former President Donald Trump win 2016. That's a lie. They didn't help him win. Their actions didn't influence the election toward Trump. If anything, they were going against both candidates. They had disinformation about both candidates because Russia just like other countries, they want to foment as much societal breakdown as they can, because that makes our country weaker. Can't focus on the main issues, the actual bad actors. Gotta, put up a straw man. A Senate Intelligence Committee investigation on the matter also came to a similar conclusion in 2020. Big number, 7.16 million. That's the cumulative YouTube subscriber count of all 6 influencers listed on Tenet's talent roster. So they're failing to make the connection here. I think they're going to talk about it here in a minute. But how exactly How exactly did the Russians tell these creators what to do and how to talk about things? That's what I'm not seeing. So it's a freaking nothing burger. Yeah, Lord Sterling, I agree. It's a much ado about nothing. Much ado about nothing. Crucial quote. While announcing the indictment, Attorney General Merrick Garland, piece of garbage, said, "The Justice Department will not tolerate attempts by an authoritarian regime to exploit our country's free exchange of ideas in order to covertly further its own propaganda and efforts. And our investigation into this matter remains ongoing." That's how I think he sounds. He kind of sounds like Piglet. I can't do a good Piglet voice. Him and Harry Reid. Harry Reid sounded very close to Piglet. Interesting. Tangent. In a separate announcement on Wednesday, the DOJ said it seized 32 internet domains that were being used to carry out Russian government-directed foreign malign influence campaigns, colloquially referred to as doppelganger. The websites covertly spread Russian government propaganda with the aim of reducing international support for Ukraine. Fuck Ukraine. Fuck Ukraine. You don't need to spread disinformation. Just give the information as it is, and people will be able to make up their freaking minds. And influence voters in the U.S. And foreign elections, including the U.S. 2024 presidential election. The Treasury Department sanctioned Russian autonomous nonprofit organizations, ANO, Dialogue and State Media Outlet, RT, formerly known as Russia Today, for allegedly conducting a disinformation campaign. Who decides what disinformation is, guys? Who makes that decision? Something to think about. So that's the end of that. Let's look at, let me see here. Stop sharing real quick. Hey, I'm back. Where is Tim Pool's statement? Here it is. So we're going to go ahead and read Tim Pool's full statement. There it is. And there's a reason that they didn't include the last part. There's a reason, and I get it. I get it, Forbes. I get it why you weren't comfortable with sharing his whole statement. But the statement from Tim Pool, which now, guys, he has Israel, Ukraine, and he's pro-war, and he believes everything the FBI says. Just so you know, Tim Pool has come out and said this. Tim Pool trolls, guys. He does a little bit of trolling. We do a little trolling. Just a little. Not too much. You got to do the right amount. The right amount of trolling. So my statement regarding allegations and the DOJ indictment. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims. I cannot speak for anyone else at the company as to why they do, or as to what they do, or to what they are instructed. The Culture War podcast was licensed by TENET Media. It existed well before any license agreement with TENET, and it will continue to exist after any such agreement expires. The only change with the agreement was that the location of the live broadcast moved to TENET's YouTube channel and Rumble. I and TCW never produced any content for TENET Media. So they were in control, complete control of their content, their production, everything. They were in control of it. They were just happened to be licensed to TENET Media, and the TENET Media label was on it. That sounds like that's what that is. Never at any point did anyone other than I have full editorial control of the show, and the contents of the show are often apolitical. Examples include discussing spirituality, dating, and video games. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input from anyone external to the company. TCW is a separate company not associated with timcast.com or other properties. It exists solely for the production of the Culture War podcast. That being said, we still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Freaking fantastic point there, Timmy Boy. Beanie Boy with a good point. They are allegations. They are an indictment. That does not mean convictions. A lot of people get this twisted. Just because you're indicted, or hell, even convicted sometimes, as is the case with the 34 big old bad felonies in New York. If the justice system wasn't operating as it should, as it is supposed to within constitutional bounds, it is not legitimate. Temple's gay flags. Yes, indeed. Oh, I think Lord Stern, you were talking about the Chinese there. I said that the That's because the Democrat Party has. Wait, that's from Pulled McGroin. What's up, Pulled McGroin? Hope your groin's better. Hope your groin's better. That's because the Democrat Party has so much in common with the Communist Party. No one can tell. Perfect hiding place for spies. Yep. Very, very convenient for the commies, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I concur. So that being said, there are only allegations. Putin is a scumbag. Russia sucks donkey balls. That's the part that Forbes didn't want to include in their very official and professional article. Russia sucks donkey balls. Well said, Tim. Well said. And to the journalists who wish to jump the gun, create their own narrative, or lie about what is currently going on, you can eat my Irish ass. Corrected. He corrected it because he didn't know that it was an official DOJ release. That was excellent. Good job, Tim. Good statement. Good statement. That gave me a chuckle when I read that earlier. So yeah, guys, I tend to think, hey, good deal. Glad to hear, Pulled McGroin. Glad your groin's better. It's good to have your groin in order. Oh, Sam Duty's rooting for Putin. Oh, rooting for a Tootin' and a Putin. Oh, no. I'm not gonna say I support Russia, but the whole Ukraine thing, there's a lot more nuance to that. There's a whole hell of a lot more nuance to that. If you've watched anything from Tucker Carlson, if you know anything about the 2014 Maidan coup, where our CIA literally went in there and got rid of the government that was present and installed our own puppets. And maybe the areas that Russia went into deserved to be able to get out of Ukraine and join Russia, since they are ethnically Russian, and the Ukrainian government has been shelling them, bombing them, treating them as second-class citizens since 2014. So, this started about 2 years ago. So 8 years worth of being bombed and attacked by your own capital. Yeah, I don't blame Russia for stepping in and saying, you know what? Yeah, come in, be with us, do it. Don't blame them at all. And when NATO continuously encroaches upon Russia, when there was an agreement decades ago where we said we wouldn't do that, at a certain point, yeah, they're going to fight back. What do you expect them to just bend over and take it? Sorry, not sorry. Do I agree with how they do things? No. But we can't act like we're all high and mighty when we have had a history of expanding our sphere of influence, both politically and physically. We literally do that. Just saying. Just saying. Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Oh. Don't know what that was. Had an echo there. Had an echo. Oh, Taylor Hansen did put out a statement as well. He said that TENET Media has ended after the DOJ indictment, and he'll now be pursuing other job opportunities. So may continue to report on vital news stories and in this election season. So if you can, Taylor Hansen, he does some really good on the ground reporting. He, along with like Elijah Schaefer, were on the ground for riots and stuff like that. So they do some good work. Good protest coverage there. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a nothing burger, guys. I don't think it's as bad as they make it out to be. That's a Trump quote, isn't it? I just want everyone to stop dying. Okay? We need less people dying. We need more people alive. Global population is decreasing. It's what Elon Musk told me. He's a very smart man. He's a smart man, Elon. Very strange man at times, but he's a very smart man. Maybe one of the smartest. Who knows? No, I wouldn't say that. Other people might say that. I've been trying to work on my Trump. I don't know how good it's getting, but I'm trying. Yep. It would be nice if everybody would stop dying. That was Kristen Welker, I think, right? Wasn't that no, Caitlin Collins was the person that was interviewing him. And man, he just put her in line, didn't he? Good stuff. Oh, getting stoned in a glass house is equally dangerous. Yeah, I can see how that might cause some problems. We're going to be talking about the wacky tobacco later on. That's in our end of the show high notes. Literally this time. with the Lex Friedman interview. I actually have not watched that whole interview, but I definitely need to. I've heard that it is really, really policy heavy, and that's what we need to see. We need to see Trump. Trump's doing, whoever's advising Trump on being on these podcasts. Thank you, bravo, and maybe he can end up on Rogan. I know Rogan said that he doesn't want to give anybody that's running a leg up, because that's honestly what it would do. Because people can see Trump be Trump, he just be him, and it humanizes him to actually have a long form conversation with him. And that's where I think we need to go as a country and as a political beast. It needs to evolve, and I think that's where it's going. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if the people can make it too big to rig. That's the goal, anyways. That's the goal. Yeah, Paul McGrain. Elon's smart enough not to go to France. My goodness, France with Telegram. That is, they honeypotted the dude. Plus, they baited him with a meeting with the president of France, and then they freaking arrested him and are charging a social media platform CEO with the crimes of individuals that were on the platform. And it's only because he wouldn't give governments a back door to come in and spy and do their nefarious shit. That's the only reason. One place Elon definitely doesn't need to go is Brazil. That freaking Voldemort-looking son of a gun. That dude looks creepy as hell, guys. He looks like a villain. What is it with these people that end up in power that look like supervillains? Got Klaus Schwab with his weird dark Power Ranger outfit. Got the judge, Alejandra, whatever, down there in Brazil. Biden looking like Palpatine after he was severely damaged by Windu. Bit of a trend. So speaking of media organizations, Mug Club, Steven Crowder's undercover group that he's got going on, Mug Club Undercover. They got a good sting, guys. They got a good sting. They have the chief public affairs officer for the Southern District of New York for the Department of Justice. They got him on a date with a lovely lady, and he was being candid. And the little bit that I've heard of it sounds like he's a good dude. So I hope the guy doesn't get in trouble. Hope the guy's able to support himself and his family after this. Maybe. I don't know. With how candid and forthright he was being, it almost makes me think that he knew. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much tinfoil hat. Oh, I froze. What is going on there? Let me check and see if that happened over there on the Rumble stream. I think we're good. All right. If I start glitching out, please let me know in the chat. Oh. All right. So we're going to go ahead and cover the piece from Mug Club Undercover with this fellow. He pretty much just put it out on Front Street that Trump has been politically prosecuted. It's been lawfare, unwarranted trumping up of charges. And it's good to hear somebody actually say it. It's good to hear somebody actually say it, and especially somebody that's within the organization. It's good to see. Good to see. So let's pull this up here. Where did it go? Not what I wanted. There we go. All right. Oop. Let's go ahead and get this pulled up here. Oh. All right. We're going to watch this piece from Mug Club Undercover. They're doing good work. If you want to support them, Louder with Crowder, they've got a locals community. They've got Rumble. They've got, I think, louderwithcrowder.com or something like that. So definitely worth checking them out. Let's go ahead and watch this. I'll try not to pause it and make a bunch of ranty stuff, but if it happens, it happens. Yanni Fangs said, "Yeah, your movements were so lightning fast. The internet couldn't handle it. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning." I do talk with my hands a bit from time to time, especially when I'm a little bit animated. All right. If the audio is too high or too low, please let me know. Let's go ahead and start this clip from Mug Club Undercover.
Stacking charges and rearranging things just to make the case nonsense. So perversion of justice. To make him a convict, a convicted felon. It affects his captaincy if he's a convicted felon. It's a travesty of justice, a mockery of justice.
Let me be clear about something on the outset. The person you'll be watching today is not the bad guy here. Unwitting whistleblower? Yeah. Nicholas Biasi is the Chief of Public Affairs for the Department of Justice's Southern District of New York. Something you may be familiar with, and the most prominent federal trial court in America.
Those felonies did nothing to stop Trump from running.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did. And the whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him. And that's why I like the surging of the politics. It's a perversion of justice. Who's stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case? No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense. State levels are Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. So yeah, this guy's probably going to try to lock him up. And it's going to be ugly. They're so obsessed with getting him.
Who is they?
Who I've known for 15 years. He used to work in my office. Before he decided to prosecute Trump, did you know who he was? You do now. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. So now he's very ambitious. Every real estate person in New York does what he did.
And this is why I take a look at the chat every now and then. Yeah, I paused it because I decided to say something for a minute there, and I boomered. I was muted. I did that because I still got a little bit of the crud going on, allergies and whatnot with living here in Southeast Missouri. But no, I was talking about how Mershon, I think, is probably going to, he's crazy enough that, and his daughter's getting millions of dollars off of this. So I could see him going ahead and locking Trump up. I don't know if there's going to be chaos like, Biasi was just indicating, but the National Guard, yeah, pulled World of Sterling. Oh no. Oh man. No, but I don't know if the National Guard is there for a possible Trump imprisonment or if they're there to combat the illegal immigration. I don't know what the National Guard is doing with such an increased presence in New York. I don't know how things are going to turn out if they try to put Trump in prison. I don't. Don't know. All right, let's get back to this.
Mr. Biasi is just saying the quiet part out loud. The part that unfortunately matters. Lawfare? Yes. Why? Because Biasi openly says so. The ones from Alvin Bragg are a particular perversion of justice. How do you know? Because Biasi says so, and he's known him for 15 years. Election interference? At this point, is there any doubt?
Are those even actual felonies? Because I was pretty sure that
No, he was stacking charges and like rearranging things just to make it fit a case. No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense. Every real estate person in New York does what he did. Nobody's ever been charged with this until him, and that's why I like the surging of the posits. You know, it's a perversion of justice.
Those felonies did nothing to stop Trump from running.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did.
And that was that Alvin Bragg's choice to do that? Or why?
Because Alvin's very ambitious.
What do you mean?
He wants to be, something. I don't know what. Mayor. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. So this is like before he decided to prosecute Trump. Did you know who he was?
So Bragg is clout chasing. Mama Mac, good point there on doing dishes. Thanks for listening while you're working. Appreciate you. Hope those dishes are spotless.
Get out.
What was the point of even doing it then?
To make him a convict.
To make him what?
A convicted felon.
What if he can still run for presidency and
Yeah, but it affects his candidacy if he's a convicted felon.
I was trying to count the losses. I was like, I wonder how many are against him. I think it's called lawfare.
Yes.
That's what I've gathered from that.
That is what they call it.
So how does this even happen? How can it happen? How can the local and state level courts try President Trump with more ease and less red tape than the federal courts? That doesn't seem right to the uninitiated, but you are the uninitiated. Good thing Biasi isn't.
I mean, at the federal level where I work, there is a 90-day rule where you can't make any decisions on cases that are going to affect an election. That rule does not apply at the state level.
So it's straight up election interference. He's calling it what it is. He's just being a blunt dude who's calling it objectively, analyzing this and calling it out for what it is. That's what this guy's doing. I hope the dude doesn't lose his livelihood over this or anything like that. Apparently, he's come out and said that these aren't his actual statements and probably blaming the booze or something, or like they normally do. Oh, just trying to say things to impress their date. Gonna transport the dirty dishes to you, Mama Mac.
The state levels are wild west. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. So yeah, this guy's probably going to try to lock him up, and it's going to be ugly. They're so obsessed with getting him.
who is they? How did they get away with that?
It's a different system. Like the state level and the federal level are like night and day. It's hard to explain, but like there are so many more rules in the federal level, and they're like the threshold for a crime is so much higher. Like I said, like the state level is like the Wild West of law. It's like very, for lack of a better term, unregulated. Less checks and balances.
And I know what you're thinking. I thought it too. Well, you're talking about one case or two or 19. Hey, if it's local, you break the rules, you pay the piper, or even if you don't, if you're President Trump, pay.
Odor of mendacity. A lot of deception.
The piper. But there are other cases in the country. There are a lot of them. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? What about the Georgia electoral interference case, right? That Donald Trump is currently having to face under Fannie Willis, right? The Fulton County District Attorney, who was caught having an affair with the special prosecutor Nathan Wade.
So is that the strategy against Trump? Just hit him with all the legal battles all across, like the Fannie Willis, Georgia stuff. What do you think about that?
Ooh, I hope Crowder's not going to get in trouble for using MCU. That's Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, he might want to check on that. He's got, that super lawyer Bill Richmond. He's probably got his back, right? Yeah, it looks like Sam's going to be using some of that 0-point energy that Ashton Forbes has been talking about. He's going to open up a wormhole with some negative energy and teleport his dishes to you, Mama Mac.
That case.
It's a travesty of justice. To put it mildly, it's a mockery of justice. She is a joke. Like, her and her boyfriend she was seeing, the whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get her.
I guess at this point, the only argument left is why should you trust anything Biasi has to say? Let me make the case. Biasi is an expert. He has firsthand knowledge and experience. And despite how the media is going to try and spin this, he is kind of an authoritative voice as the chief of public affairs for the Department of Justice's Southern District of New York. This man knows the players.
Great point there, Lord Sterling. Since Crowder's MCU isn't fiction sci-fi related, it shouldn't be an issue legally. Good point. Good point.
He knows the game, and he knows that it is rigged.
Who's that?
Alvin Bragg, yeah, who I've known for 15 years. He used to work in my office. So here's us. Here's Alvin. He's county level, and he decided to do the case.
Yeah.
And Michael Cohen was their star witness who we prosecuted.
Okay.
You know who he is? That guy's psycho. He calls me. And he records
What does he want with you?
But Trump had Michael Cohen with him.
Thick
So
New York accent. He's like, is this Nicholas Biasi, the chief of public affairs? And I'm like, yeah, this is me. I was like, this is Michael Cohen. Why won't you guys vacate my conviction? I'm like, I can't really. I'm not authorized to speak to victims.
the fact that Cohen was dumb enough or had the balls enough to ask them, why isn't the federal aspect of this getting swept away, tells you a lot. Yeah, Mama Mac, I saw that the Biasi guy is trying to walk back his comments. I did see that, where it said something like essentially, that that really didn't reflect his views. Yeah, I don't know, man. You seem pretty blunt here. Ooh. I hope that doesn't happen to this guy, because it sounds like he's got a realistic view of the situation. I hope they don't try to unalive the guy. Some of those two self-inflicted wounds to the back of the head. Seen too many of those. Seen too many.
Or defendants, which I thought was a pretty good answer, not knowing who was calling.
Trying to impress a date. That's what they always say.
Well, who can he speak to? And I was like, the media. He goes, I have one of the biggest podcasts in New York. But I kind of didn't believe him.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're still a defendant, and that precludes me from talking to you. Of course. I've known Alvin for 15 years.
Like, how well do you know him?
I used to work with him for 10 years.
You guys had dinner together and hung out?
No, we weren't best friends.
Okay.
But I mean, like, if I see him, we know each other really well, but like, do I respect what he's doing? No. Is he a nice guy?
What about like the other people you work with? Do they know it's all a political perversion?
Yeah. Of course. Oh, Trump stuff?
Yeah.
Well, we deferred on all this stuff.
What do you mean?
We investigated, decided that for one thing, there is precedent that you can't.
What's up, Therapy Range? Thanks for joining.
You cannot.
You cannot.
Okay.
There is an Office of Legal Affairs rule that you cannot indict a city president. It's just too disruptive to the country. So we didn't. But the DA did.
Again, it's important to remember that Biasi is not the bad guy here. I know you're probably mad. Lawfare is a thing. And it's not only happened to Donald Trump, it's happened to many of you watching or listening right now. Some of you don't even know it yet. You don't live in a free country simply because you have laws. You only live in a free country if the laws are applied equally. Otherwise, the law is not a tool to protect a free people. It's used as a weapon to bludgeon the people who perhaps think wrongly. What is the media going to say here? And it's a good thing that this is part of an ongoing series every single week between now and election night, November 2024. This is Mug Club Undercover, the stealing of a nation. There's more to come, but I still expect them to play the same cards. This person's not authoritative. He is. He's speaking out of turn. He's not. He has no firsthand knowledge. He does. This is selectively edited. If you join and go to louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub, you can see it unedited. There's no smoking gun there. It's just boring. You want to watch them order drinks? Some of them are awful drinks. That's the most offensive part in all of this, but it's not my job to comment on that. We've been working behind the scenes tirelessly and have been shocked at what we have found. And we will be showing it all to you every single.
Yeah, Crowder's beard game is on point. I got to catch up. I got a little bit. I trim it back. I don't usually let it get that big. Now, my profile pic on X, that was probably the longest I've let my beard get in a while. It was about that length. Looking all snazzy with that button up, Crowder. Making me feel like a slob over here.
Week between now and November 5th, 2024, the election live stream of the century. And that night, wouldn't it be nice if on that night you didn't see the same tactics that you now know have been going on for the years leading up to it? I fully expect the media to attack the messenger. And if that does happen, well, join Mug Club. This is all the culmination of months of tireless work here from the Mug Club Undercover unit.
If you decided to prosecute Trump, did you know who he was? You know. It's a travesty of justice. To put it mildly, it's a mockery of justice. Putin is disgusting.
Tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, because that's what we do every day.
You know, guys, that was a big one. That was a big one. That's a hell of a story for Crowder's Mug Club Undercover to get. So JJR said, my beard could be known as Bill in the Wild, kind of like Dilly in the Wild. Dilly meme show. Sam, did you focus really hard? Did you focus really hard on trying to transport your dirty bowl to Mama Mac? No, but guys, this is an important story. The fact that he got somebody that is within the department, the Department of Justice, the Chief Public Affairs, officer for the Southern District of New York, the fact that he was able to get somebody like that to just speak candidly, to speak objectively, to acknowledge the nonsense for what it is. That's the literal word that he used. Nonsense. It's a travesty of justice. It's a mockery of justice. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with the dude more. Could not agree with the dude more. He's right. He's objectively correct. And the fact there's so many people that haven't been paying attention to the the jockeying, the bits, the minutia of these issues. People aren't looking. They're just looking at headlines. They're looking at the 34 felonies, which Trump isn't convicted yet, guys. Until the actual sentence, until he is sentenced, he is not a convicted felon. That's an important distinction. That's an important distinction. Right now, he's been found guilty, unjustly so. That jury didn't do their darn jobs. You're supposed to be an impartial jury. I'll say this every stream. You have a constitutional right to an impartial jury. And you can't get that in some places. And if that's the case, then the case cannot be brought. Or you need to have a change of venue. That's what should happen. But these were trumped up charges in the first place. You had misdemeanors that were turned into felonies. They're using the state process to get around election interference regulations. And, you know, I agree that, you know, the states kind of do their own thing. And I like it to an extent because we are a United States of America. You've got each state that, you know, does their own thing. Each state is part of a greater union. And that's where the federal courts come in play for federal issues, which this one was. Anything election, with the election interference, with stuff like this should have been remanded to federal court. It should not have been in state court. They acted like this hush money stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then you go back to the real estate stuff. Businesses aren't going to want to do business. Real estate companies are not going to want to do business in New York, based on some of the rulings that have come out. The one with the orc. God, I'm bad with names today, guys. Oh, the weird looking guy. It was really buddy with the clerk. Where they said that he was lying about the values of his properties. Oh, Rashawn's the one that we're currently looking at. Oh well, it'll come to me later when I'm probably half asleep. But pulling McGroin with a decent point here. Well, the jury did exactly what they were directed to do: convict. The judge did exactly what he was supposed to do: not allow the defense to present a case properly. It was stacked. We all know it. That's right. That's right. Therapy range. I like it. I like how we have FKH, which is just I read FKH as a text for fuck. But it's fuck Kamala Harris, FKH. I'm voting for the felon. God bless you, therapy range. Me too. He could literally, at this point, after him getting shot, and he did get shot in the head, y'all. It's not hyperbolic to say Trump got shot in the head. After that, any nagging little, hangers on of an idea that Trump might be, a part of the whole thing, because it's been there since 2015, honestly. Or yeah, it's been there where I was like, you know what? Gosh dang, is he actually a part of this whole thing? Is he just acting like the guy who's the outsider? Nah, any bit. And I always pushed it to the back of my mind because I'm like, nah, I'm the tinfoil hat. I'm for the tinfoil hat, but that's just too much. But it was still there. It still nagged me every now and then. I'm like, man, could he be though? After they shot him, nope. No doubt in my mind, this man is anti-establishment. He is the one that we need. Now, I'm not going to give him a deification here. The guy needs criticism when he needs criticism, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. But he's, I think, evolved and gotten a little bit more independent in his thought when it comes to that. Very easily, a good sign is that when it first came out, he could have been like, "Oh, we need to ban these guns." He didn't do that, so that's a good sign. The Las Vegas thing and the bump stock thing, knee-jerk response, not good. He had a bunch of crappy people around him. Trump is absolutely the best of a horrible situation. I agree. And I think he does give a shit about this country, because when this country succeeds, Trump succeeds. And Trump needs to succeed. That right there lets you know he's not going to let the country falter. He learned a lot. And he's actually said this a few times now. He started saying this. I heard him say it about a year ago in passing, that when he got to DC, he had only been there 10 or 12 times and didn't really know the people. And now he knows the people. And in recent interviews, he's fleshed that out more fully, which I absolutely am grateful for. Because for independent-minded folks like me, an ounce of humility about something like that is needed. Acknowledge where you screwed up and fix it. Fix it. And I think he's fixing it. If you look at the people that he's surrounding himself with, you got Tulsi Gabbard, you got Bobby Kennedy. Those are two impressive individuals that can provide a different perspective. It kind of, and I guess more Democrats are apparently going to be hopping on board, or former Democrats rather, that are more independent individuals now. It's I think it was Lincoln's League of Rivals or Team of Rivals or something like that, where he had people around him that he didn't necessarily agree with on everything, but they cared about the country and they wanted the best for the country. Now, Lincoln was a tyrant in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong, but it's a good sign that you have you're taking people on that can sharpen you. I reference this almost every stream. As iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man. Absolutely true. You refine yourself when you surround yourself with others that will challenge you and help broaden your perspective. And it strengthens your ability to defend your perspectives and your mentality when you are met with somebody who brings a different perspective. So just because you have them around you doesn't mean you adopt everything that they believe. It can bolster your own perspectives. So a lot of people get that twisted and think that if you've got others around you that are different minded, that you're going to naturally lean their way. Not necessarily. So. Yep. That's pulled McGroin. I agree with you 100%. They tried to make her into a boogie woman whenever she destroyed Kamala Harris. The fact that he's using Tulsi Gabbard for debate prep against Kamala, excellent move. Excellent choice, sir. Excellent choice. He says, Paul McGrain, I personally believe Tulsi has taken a major step at building trust. She's paying the price for bucking the Dem Party, and that takes iron balls. She's got a large pair of balls. Metaphorically, of course. She's not one of those tea folk. Slant. Only people that Trump knew were the Clintons. Once he learned who they actually were is when he decided to run, in my opinion. Yeah, he definitely knew them. He definitely did. He rubbed elbows with all the folks, but he also distanced himself when provided with information that they weren't the best type of folks to be around. I don't know. I don't think I think he learned his lesson. I really hope and pray that he did. It seems like he did. Based on the people he's currently surrounding himself with, and his approaches to adjusting his messaging, I think he's got the right people. I think he does. I think I'm hopeful. I'm really inspired, honestly, by what I've been seeing. And I'm getting excited about the prospect of what's to come if he's allowed to take office, because guys, we have, we have like 3 months, or no, 2 months, excuse me. October, November. Yeah. Yeah. They are probably going to try again. I think they're going to try to take Trump out again. And I think it's probably going to be a little bit better executed. I hope they don't get him. I really hope and pray they don't. But I would not doubt I would not doubt them trying to take out Trump again. But just pretty much what we can do is pray and point things out when we see it. Yeah, pulled McGroin. He needed to pal around to get things done. That was part of the thing. And he admitted that in the debates with Clinton. He's like, yeah, I worked with these people. I donated to these people and those people. It's what you do. That's how you move. It's how you move about in the business world. Therapy range with the flags. America. Some America for y'all. Good times, good times. So staying on Trump, after we discussed the lawfare that is obviously being used against Trump and the people that support him. And the great thing about the lawfare, guys, is you see how the system is abused and bastardized to make a point, to put people in line. We see it with the people from Certification Day 2021, also known as J6. The people that were involved with that, they, dude, therapy range. Thank you. Sincerely appreciate the Rumble rant. We got a $2 Rumble rant from Therapy Range. Teamwork makes the dream work. Wish it was more. Dude, anytime somebody wants to offer up a little bit of cash, I sincerely appreciate you. Nobody ever has to donate anything to me, but it is always appreciated. Helps me keep doing this, keep getting the word out, spreading the truth, guys. We're spreading the truth. Speaking of, I am on Truth Social, Billdozer74 there as well. Worth a follow. I post things every now and then. Seriously, though, Therapy Range, much appreciated. Every bit helps. Every bit helps. But I also have the dozerden.locals.com. Little community there. We've got 3 or 4 people there. Pretty much my idea for that place is just kind of, putting stuff out there that I find interesting. Some memes. I do have a spicy meme collection. Science stories, news stories. Of course, whenever I'm going to be, on a show, I'll try to post there. Like something I've been on with Cool Frog, been on with the Gun Club, or Real News Talk with Sully. I try to post whenever I'm going to be somewhere, and then of course my channel here whenever I'm doing my weekly stream. If you guys have just joined the channel, I saw our numbers went up a little bit there. If you're just joining, smash that like button, smash it, tap it, give it a little tickle if you like. Definitely makes a difference. If you want to comment in the comment section, that also helps with the engagement, helps get more eyes on the content. And again, if you are inclined to send Rumble rants or subscribe to the channel, we've got 3 or 4 subscribers right now. $5 a month to get custom emotes, get your name highlighted in a beautiful red tint, MAGA red. It's the right color. Nobody ever has to, but if you're so inclined, much appreciated. So staying on the discussion of Trump, we see how the little guy can be taken apart by the system when they are doing it to somebody as big as Trump. Hey, Sam Duty, thanks for sharing, man. Appreciate you. We see how blatant it can be. Oh, I gotta stop, and I gotta give the otters, the dancing otters, bask in their glory. I love those dancing otters. They're so nice. Otters are cute, but I've heard they're pretty vicious. I saw a video of them fighting another animal, and it was brutal. I'm not gonna lie, those cute little critters can get after it. But keeping in the vein of Trump talk, we're gonna go ahead and cover the Hannity town hall. Hannity, Crowder was covering it last night. I was listening to bits and pieces of the first one. Hannity needed to shut up, though. He was talking too much. He did do one thing. That I wish Trump would have been the one to say it. He asked the Reagan line. He said, important question for the audience. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And I actually told Lady Dozer, my wife, earlier. I told her earlier because she had a brief interaction with somebody at the mall. She had a really cool shirt. I might have to go get it. It's like Trump, like as a bodybuilder, curling a giant, dumbbell. Oh yeah, guys, go check out Therapy Range. He does have a channel. I haven't watched it in a while. Therapy Range does have a channel. Go check them out. Hey, if Therapy Range, if you want to throw your link out in the chat, I'll pin it for a second so people can get a look at it. And that way, when people are watching later, they get some eyes on that link. So if you want to throw your link in the chat, I'm fine with that. As long as you're not spamming links, guys. If as long as I give you the go ahead or you ask. if you want to put a link for your channel out there, feel free. So there we go. Rumble.com, therapy range. I'll keep that up for a second. But yeah, Paul McGroin, I have to agree with you. I don't think Hannity is a constitutional conservative. I think he's one of your New York like type conservatives, one of your more liberal conservatives. If you can, it's a contradiction, isn't it? I don't know. Hannity, like I said, Savage referred to him as the Wallbanger. He makes a lot of noise, and Trump really likes him, and they have a good rapport. You can tell they're friendly with each other. So it's good to see that aspect of Trump. Hannity's not my type of content. I don't really watch Fox News. The only people that I really liked from Fox News were Tucker Carlson. Used to be Brett Baer, but maybe the Botox went to his head and he started getting a little bit too inspired by the lefties that run Fox. Look into the family. The younger ones that took over, very, very left. Very left. Oh, God. Well, that's dark. Yanni Fang says the Meat Eater podcast had an episode earlier this year where three ladies that were attacked by a river otter. Not pretty. Yeah, they probably are pretty vicious. Heck yeah, man. Therapy range. Dude. Hell yeah, man. I hope you can get up to 5,000 before October. That would be awesome. I just hope to break 500 at some point. I think I'm at like 362 or something like that, which I appreciate all 362 of you beautiful followers. You're the best. You're the best. You're honestly better than all the other ones. Just saying. I mean, don't let them know. Don't let them know. I think that you guys are my favorites. You really are. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you to everybody who has been watching today. Don't know why anyone would want to take time out of their evening to hang out with little old Midwestern bulldozer, but always appreciated. Always appreciated. And to the people that are watching after the live, very much appreciated. I get it that everyone has different schedules, and the fact that you're taking time to watch after I've been live is awesome. You guys are Chadley. Or Chadetly. Chad and Chadette. Chadina. Yeah, there we go. Chad and Chadita. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I keep saying that I'm going to end up doing 2 streams a week. And I think I'm going to start maybe towards the end of the year doing like a Sunday stream as well. That might be a little bit more relaxed. I don't know. Might be more science focused stuff on Sunday. We'll just see. It's not like there's a shortage of news, y'all. There's plenty of things to talk about all the time. So I do think I'm probably going to start streaming. I'm getting good views. I had a couple. The video before last didn't get as many, and I think it might have been because I mentioned a certain dark web video with Hillary Clinton. And I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to get. Don't know if Rumble would do that, but it was just interesting that I mentioned a specific, name of the video that I'm not saying is true. Unsettling, but not saying it's true. Wouldn't doubt it. But we'll leave that. We'll leave that one. There it is. But yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this Trump town hall, the question and answer part, which was frustrating because I was watching it. Oh gosh, where'd it go? There it is. I was a little bit frustrated with Hannity that they split it up into two nights. And I was watching the Crowder coverage, so I honestly didn't hear all of it from the first part. I just heard Hannity talking a lot. Trump had some points, but Hannity, just let Trump do his thing. Give him a springboard, and Trump goes. That's the type of personality he is. You give him a little springboard of a conversation, and boom, he dives right in. Hannity was interrupting at times, and it's like, dude, I get it. You're the guy. Your name is up there, but chill, bro. Chill. I get it. You got your little dashes on your black belt, whatever. Calm down, Hannity. Calm down. Let Trump do his thing. Hey, good on you guys for following Therapy Range. Good stuff. Rising tide lifts all ships, I say. Good stuff. Now let me see if this is going to cooperate with me. Open. There. Oh, but it keeps shrinking. Weird. All right. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Narrate it like a boomer. Click here. Share. There it is. Let's see if this will actually play. We're gonna go ahead and watch the Q&A, and I will probably pop in from time to time. Actually, really quick, before we do that, I see we're up to 40 viewers, and let me see if there are any campaigns available. Rumble Ad Center, it does present an opportunity for creators to ooh, look at that. Gifts and Go. Hell yeah, I will do an ad read for Gifts and Go. Don't use the other one. I don't even want to say its name, but you guys know what the other one is. We're going to do the second sponsor for tonight's broadcast, Give, Send, Go, the fundraising leader in online fundraising. Finally, we're beginning to see legitimate alternatives to big tech companies in all spheres of society. Now, anytime you have a fundraising need, start a campaign on Give, Send, Go and invite your community to stand with you. Give, Send, Go has become the #1 choice for so many who were not given a voice because of what they believed. The other one actually would hinder your speech. If they didn't agree with you, they wouldn't let you make money. They wouldn't let you gain support for your campaign or your message. Give, Send, Go believes in free speech. They believe in people being able to gather support for the causes that they have. When other platforms silenced, Give, Send, Go came in and stood for freedom. Freedom! Give, Send, Go is a family company that shares your values. Well, I didn't know they knew my values that well, but it sounds like I probably agree. They are the only fundraising platform with a hope team of dedicated individuals who personally call every campaign and praise for them and their situation. Well, that is really nice. Good on them. That's cool. I like that. There's even a pray button on every campaign page too, so anyone can offer a kind word to those who are raising funds. With 20 fundraising categories, currencies in over 80 countries, and more money in your pocket, go with the platform preferred by Jordan Peterson, Kyle Rittenhouse, and Eric Metaxas. Give it a go on givesendgo.com. Give, send, go. Get after it, you guys. If you're wanting to raise funds for something, don't use the other one. I'm not even going to say their name because screw them. Support the people who will support you in the freest way possible. Give, Send, Go, guys. Check them out. That's the place to go. Always appreciate the Rumble Ad Center. We got reason chat. Oh no, we have freedom. Freedom. Yes, indeed. Hopefully you guys aren't too bothered by those ad reads. Oh man. Oh shoot. I will therapy range. If I follow you on X, is your name a therapy range on X? I think I thought I followed you, but I'm not 100% sure. And sometimes the algorithm on X doesn't even give me the people that I want to look at their content. So I would love to be a guest on your live stream. So that would be awesome, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Put your if you can. Oh, okay. I got you, man. I got you. I'll actually screenshot that on the app real quick so that I've got it and I can just copy and paste. I will reach out to you, bud. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Good stuff. Good stuff. What? Mama Mac. Oh, she said, I'm waiting for the call to moon these globalists. That'll be the start for me. Oh my goodness. That's good stuff. I haven't watched Braveheart in a while. It's a good one. Oh, we got some stuff. We got dancing stuff in chat. Yes. Yes, indeed. We have pugs. I didn't know pugs were a thing. Solid. Got the dancing doge. There you go. There you go. Appreciate you guys. Smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Teamwork makes the dream work. Heck yes, absolutely. I will reach out to you. Yeah, I'll probably shoot you an email after the show tonight, and yeah, we'll get that set up. Appreciate the offer, man. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this town hall with the Q&A, where we actually have some people getting to ask the God Emperor himself some questions. Come on, come up here.
You know, I always plan out, I do all this research to ask you questions and you just go. But we came here also to hear from the people of Harrisburg. Before we get to the people, I want to again we introduced him last night on the show. Dave McCormick is the Republican Senate candidate from Pennsylvania. Senator, great to have you. I'll give you a chance to say a couple of words.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you, Sean, and thank you for Mr. President for being here in the Keystone State. And the Keystone State is going to decide the future of the country, put you back in the White House and a majority in the Senate. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
And, you know, Mr. President, it's a scary time in the world. Our adversaries around the world, Iran, China, Russia, North Korea, are testing us. They're challenging us. We've lost deterrence. They think America's weak. They think America's on retreat.
Right.
And my question to you is, on day one, when you're back in the White House, how do we restore deterrence? How do we bring strength and capability back to our military? And how do we make sure that everybody in the world knows that America is back?
So thank you, David, and good luck with the race. It's really important that you win. I hope you're going to vote. He's a great gentleman and he's a great warrior. The first thing we have to do, we have to strengthen our country from within. And we have a lot of bad people from within, but we have to straighten it. We have to, number one, have a border like we had it 4 years ago, which was strong, where the wrong people didn't get in. We have to have that. The other thing, we want to become, again, energy independent. We were energy independent 4 years ago. And what we really want is energy dominance. And then, as you know, I rebuilt the entire military, and we had it like nobody has ever had it before. And then this guy gave away $85 billion worth of equipment to Afghanistan in the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. But we have a lot more than that. We rebuilt the military. We want to be strong, but we want to do it peace through strength. That's what we want. Peace through strength. We shouldn't have to use our military. We're going to have the greatest military in the world. Thank you, David.
We got to pause for this important chat from Mama Mac. You know how artists make art out of many photos? What if we made a nice piece of art for the globalists and traders made up of pics of people mooning? The big picture could be a huge ass. Excellent, Mama Mac. Excellent idea. He does kind of sound like Vivek. That's a good observation there.
Ma'am, hi, what's your name?
My name is Deborah Williams.
Hi, Deborah, how are you?
I'm good now.
Hi, Deborah. Oh, because of me or because of the president? I'm just guessing. No, I'm kidding.
I plead the fifth.
Good answer.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for coming and sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Deborah.
What could you share that you've learned during the first time being in the Oval Office for those who are hesitant to vote for you now?
So we need a strong president. And, you know, I actually think we had a very stable administration, but we were hit with this weaponization. We were hit to weaponize. They've never done this before. The weaponization, all of the different Russia hoax, all of the different hoaxes, and we won every single one of them. The most important thing, and I found it, and you could say this is true in business also, we have to get the right people. When I first went there, 2016, I had a lot of good people, I had a lot of good advice, but I put people in that in some cases were not what I really wanted, because I didn't know much about Washington. I was there 17 times in my whole life, and I wasn't in D.C. very much, but I got to know them, and I got to know them the hard way. And I know the good ones, the bad ones, the weak ones, the smart ones, the dumb ones. I know them all now. And the key, and we had great ones. I mean, economic development, we did so well. The military, we did fantastically well. We knocked out ISIS, 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We have some great people.
What he just did right there, what he just did, that little bit right there, for people who are more independent minded like myself, that makes a huge difference. Just simply acknowledging that he didn't quite know everybody as well as he wanted to, and now he knows. He's been in the muck. He's been in that swamp. He knows what it's like in it, and he can figure out, he can parse through and figure out who's actually going to be America first. I believe him. I think he learned his damn lesson. I'm loving the conversation about the booty collage. It's a booty collage. Please don't send your booty shots to me. I'm a married man. No need. You guys are cracking me up. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
People in the military, not the ones that you see on television, but great people. But a big key to running it is get the right people. You put the right person and the right group of people at the heads of these massive agencies, you're going to have tremendous success. And I know now the people, and I know them better than anybody would know them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Trevor. Ma'am, hi. Ma'am, what's your name?
Sue Helm.
Hey,
And I'd
Sue.
like to welcome you to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Thank
We
you.
love you both. So
That's it.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm a small business owner. I'm the owner of Century 21 at the Helm Real Estate.
Good.
The 4 years of your presidency, Mr. Trump, were the best economically I have experienced in the 35 years I own this business. And my question is, what are your plans and policies to restore the economy so small business owners can thrive and make America great once again?
Good.
Thank you.
Good. You know, we had a woman who was very spectacular, Linda McMahon, and she ran the Small Business Administration, did a phenomenal job. And that's a very important group for what we're talking about with small business. But to put it a little simpler, we're going to have low interest rates. We're going to have low taxes. We're going to give you tremendous incentive to grow and to build your business. And, you know, a lot of people have said that. They said, one person who didn't support me, he said, I must admit, I had the most successful 4 years of my life, but I'm going to vote for some. I said, and now that person came back to me. I don't want that person. I don't want that person. You know, they say you should take everybody, but that's not the way I'm built. It's one of those little problems. This person, no, this was in the Republican primary, said, I had the best 4 years I've ever had under Trump, but I'm going to support this one. I said, that's the end of that, you know, when they came back. But we're going to lower interest rates. We're going to have low taxes. We're going to have tremendous incentives for small business. You know, small business is much bigger than big business in this country when you add it all up. And we're going to take care of small business in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, what's your name?
Travis Finkenbinder. I'm from Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Like to welcome you both here, and it's an honor to stand before you.
Thank you, Trey.
Mr. President, is it possible to correct the extensive damage the current administration has caused related to our safety and security? From the border crisis to the plethora of weapons left behind in Afghanistan, I fear for my 3 adolescent sons. At night, what do I tell Cale, Kate, and Cole about their safety and their future of this great nation?
Well, the first thing you should do is pray.
Amen.
Because what they've done to our country, right? What they've done to our country, what these, and I hate to use the word, what these stupid people, naive people, but bad people, you know, weaponization. Again, they're after me. I got more court cases. On Friday, I have one. On Monday, I have one. And they do that for very bad reasons. They don't want you to campaign. They want to keep you off the campaign. They want to try and take as much money as possible instead of putting it in. But let me just tell you, the hardest problem we have, because
Earlier, he said the stupid people, naive people. I don't think all of them are that stupid. I think there's malicious intent with a lot of them.
a smart president will be able to get along with Russia, China. There are a lot of reasons why. But the biggest problem we have is they've allowed 21 million people into our country. And I told you last night, I tell you tonight, it's the single biggest problem. They've poisoned our country. They're coming in from prisons. They're coming in from mental institutions. Terrorists are coming in. The criminals are coming off the streets in Caracas, Venezuela, but all over the world, not just in South America. It's the single hardest problem that we would have never had. If I were president, you wouldn't have that problem. You wouldn't have inflation. You wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had October 7th with Israel. You wouldn't have had the Afghanistan disaster, which I think is the single most embarrassing day in the history of our country, where they have billions of dollars of equipment. We lost 13 great soldiers, and I celebrated and honored their wonderful, they call them their children, and they are their children. They're wonderful children. They're kids. I went to Arlington Cemetery with them the other day, and at their request, and Sean knows this better than anybody, and it was very tough for me to get there, I will tell you. I don't want to say that, but it was very tough. I was in a different part of the world, frankly, and I got there, and we had a beautiful couple of hours together. First, we had a ceremony, and then we had we went down to the grave sites, and they said, "Sir, could we have a picture with my son?" In one case, it was a daughter. Could we have a picture with my daughter? We took pictures. We stayed for a long time, and then I left, and that was it. I thought it was beautiful. And those people are phenomenal, what they've done. Joe Biden and Kamala killed those children because of their incompetence, just like they had a gun that killed them. And I went home, and I thought it was a beautiful thing. I told my wife, I told our great first lady, who people love, they love her, but I said, it was so sad and yet so beautiful and joyful in a sense. I mean, the people, they had something that was very special. And I went there, and, I had them up to Bedminster. I got to know many of them, most of them. But I get home and I get a call from one of my people. "Sir, they're saying that you use this for public relations purposes." And you know what happened? It was so beautiful. Every one of those people made a video to say that Donald Trump came there. I got enough publicity. I don't need publicity. I'd like to get half the publicity. I'd be very happy.
They overplayed their hand by going after Trump like this for a genuine gesture of goodwill and honoring the fallen, slain members. What is Fox News doing? Oh my gosh. Go back. No. That is not what I wanted. Oh my goodness. Y'all, that just happened. Nonsense, I say. Nonsense. Go back. All right, I guess we're going to have to find where we were. Stupid Fox News. I won't pause it again. My bad, guys. Yeah, they've been overplaying their hand for 7 years. I agree, therapy range. But they've sincerely overdone it this time, and it has backfired gloriously. Glorious backfire. I think we were about 6 minutes in, I think.
We're going to have low taxes. We're going to have tremendous incentives for small business. Small business woman who was very spectacular, Linda McMahon, and she ran the Small Business Administration, did a phenomenal job. And that's a very important group for what we're talking about with small business. But to put it a little simpler, we're going to have low interest rates. We're going to have low taxes. We're going to give you tremendous incentive to grow and to build your business.
Were we further along in this, in the clip than this, guys? I think I'm at about the right spot, but I'm not 100% sure.
And, a lot of people have said that. They said, one person who didn't support me, he said, "I must admit, I had the most successful 4 years of my life, but I'm going to vote for some." I said, and now that person came back to me. I don't want that person. I don't want that person. They say you should take everybody, but that's not the way I'm built. It's one of those little problems. This person, no, this was in the Republican primary, said, "I had the best 4 years I've ever had under Trump, but I'm going to support this one." I said, that's the end of that, when they came back. but we're going to lower interest rates. We're going to have low taxes. We're going to have tremendous incentives for small business. You know, small business is much bigger than big business in this country when you add it all up. And we're going to take care of small business in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, what's your name?
Travis Finkenbinder. I'm from
Hardest problem we have, because a smart president would be, they're coming in from prisons, they're coming in from mental institutions, terrorists are coming in, the criminals have inflation. You wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had October 7th with Israel. You wouldn't have had the Afghanistan disaster, which I think is the single most embarrassing day in the history of our country.
Sorry about that,
where they have billions of dollars of equipment. We lost 13 great soldiers, and I celebrated and honored their wonderful, they call them their children, then they are their children. They're wonderful children. They're kids. I went to Arlington Cemetery with them the other day. And at their request, and Sean knows this better than anybody, and it was very tough for me to get there, I will tell you. I don't want to say that, but it was very tough. I was in a different part of the world, frankly, and I got there, and we had a beautiful couple of hours together. First, we had a ceremony, and then we had we went down to the grave sites, and they said, "Sir, could we have a picture with my son?" In one case, it was a daughter. Could we have a picture with my daughter? We took pictures. We had stayed for a long time. And then I left, and that was it. I thought it was beautiful. And those people are phenomenal, what they've done. Joe Biden and Kamala killed those children because of their incompetence, just like they had a gun that killed them. And I went home, and I thought it was a beautiful thing. I told my wife, I told a great first lady who people love, they love her. But I said, it was so sad and yet so beautiful and joyful in a sense. I mean, the people, they had something that was very special. And I went there and, you know, I had them up to Bedminster. I got to know many of them, most of them. But I get home and I get a call from one of my people, "Sir, they're saying that you use this for public relations purposes." And you know what happened? It was so beautiful. Every one of those people made a video to say that Donald Trump came there. I got enough publicity. I don't need publicity. I'd like to get half the publicity. I'd be very happy. But they said that, and you saw the videos. The videos became very, very well known and famous, actually. Some beautiful statements that I went there. I got nothing out of that except to take care of people that were not taken care of by our government. And Joe Biden and Kamala should call those people and apologize, because that was the most incompetent withdrawal in the history of our country. There's never been anything. So think of it. We took the military out first. You're supposed to take the military out last. Once the military was gone, they had free shots at us. But we took the military out first, and then it began. We lost 13 soldiers. Many were horribly wounded, meaning no legs, no arms. The face was obliterated. Many, we don't even talk about those people, and we have to. We left Americans behind, and you cover that better than anybody. We left many Americans behind, and we left billions and billions of dollars of brand new military equipment behind, that now they are one of the largest sellers of military equipment in the world. Afghanistan, they're selling the equipment that we just walked
almost
away
like it
from.
was planned that way.
It was so incompetent, but to be with those people was a real honor, I have to tell you. And for them to go out of their way, and every one of them made a video. They said, "Sir, could you take a picture next to the grave of my son?" I said, "Of course." Could you imagine if I said, "No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." But every one of those people appreciated it, and every one of them made a tape, and they sent it out, and it became very viral, as they say nowadays. And it was a great honor for me to be there. Thank you.
And I should add, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were both invited. And this was not, you knew these families. You had met with them at Bedminster.
Yes.
You were familiar with
I knew them.
And they invited you, you went, and they said, would you take a picture? And then you did, and then you were attacked and then the families were furious at Kamala about it. I think this is going to be the last question. What's your name, sir?
Hi, Alistair Hackett from Spring Lake, New Jersey.
Hey, Alex.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I'm a recent college graduate and am concerned with the growing influence of wokeness in many of our top institutions. We saw General Milley take this to new heights under his leadership in the military. What is your plan to combat radical ideology in the military and in our corporations?
Well, first of all, Milley.
Good question.
That day in Congress where Milley proclaimed his wokeness was an embarrassment to our country. And remember this, we don't have a woke military. We have some guys at the top that talk it, but you couldn't convince them to be woke if you were screaming at them for 5 weeks. We took out 100% of the ISIS caliphate in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. And I got to meet the real generals, and they are unbelievable. Our military is unbelievable. Remember it. Unbelievable. There's no woke.
I disagree. There are a lot of woke soldiers, and there's a lot of people that end up easily heavily
You're going to
influenced.
see a different country. We have to get
I'll rant
elected. If
about
we
that
don't
here
get
in a minute.
elected, I don't know what's going to happen to our country. I just don't know. They're so bad. And normally I wouldn't say that. I'd say, well, they're working. They're a Democrat. These aren't Democrats. These are people long beyond Democrats. When I used to say to Sean on his show, I'd say our country, Sean, will never be a socialist country. And it won't. It'll be a communist country. They skipped socialism. We cannot let this happen to our country, because if it does happen, we'll never be able to come back. We'll never be able to make a comeback from it. So we're going to have a big election. This is Pennsylvania, a very important, the Commonwealth. You never want to call it a state, the Commonwealth. If you ever call it a state, I've seen their political career ruined by saying the state of Pennsylvania. No, you never want to call it a state. Now, I'll tell you how dishonest they are. They'll take that one little statement where I said the state of Pennsylvania, and they'll play it, the state of Pennsylvania. They'll cut it.
Well, there's one other thing.
Let me just, because they're fake. And one thing we should say, not
Shut up,
him and
Hannity.
not Fox.
Silence, Wallbanger.
And we have a couple of others out there that are good, but the biggest, a great enemy to this country is the fake news media. It's a big, big enemy. And they have to change their ways. They have to change their ways.
Before we let the president go, because this is airing part 2 on Thursday night, I want to ask you the final question. In 5 nights, you'll be on the stage, not with me, but with Kamala Harris. Now, if I'm going to make a prediction, I think she's going to try and annoy, agitate, irritate, frustrate, and piss you off, to use a phrase. And are you aware of how she debates, and probably every name in the book she can call you, and without giving away your tactic?
Yeah, you don't want to do that, but when I had Biden, you and I had the same discussion.
Yeah.
And I let him talk. I'm going to let her talk because, you've all seen it. There are those that say that Biden is smarter than she is, okay? And if that's the case, we have a problem. But, debating's an interesting thing. I've been in many debates. I think I probably won because of debating, maybe. We had a lot of debates with the Republicans. Then we had Crooked Hillary. We had a lot of different people we had to debate. And we had some great debates. You do remember the Rosie O'Donnell debate. Remember Rosie? Rosie O'Donnell. She's a real great one. Isn't she a great one? Anyway, but a debate is interesting. You can go in with all the strategy you want, but you have to sort of feel it out as the debate's taking place. I've seen it. You go in there and you have a strategy. Mike Tyson made the statement, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's true. It was a brilliant statement. It's a brilliant statement. So I could tell Sean exactly what I'm going to do, but, things change. It depends a lot on ABC. Will they be fair or not? If they're not going to be fair, I'm going to be a little bit different than if they are. I hope they're going to be fair. We're putting a lot of reliance on a network which is known for being extremely hostile to the people in this room and to, I think, 75, 80% of the country, if you want to really know the truth. But, Sean, all I can say is this, you know, I've seen Mitt Romney go and lock himself into a log cabin for 4 or 5 weeks, and then he came out and he was horrible in the debate. He couldn't talk. He gained great knowledge. He couldn't talk. And Candy Crowley came out and she made a terrible statement that turned out to be wrong, but it destroyed the guy. But look, you have to, the way I look at debating, I think I've been really practicing all my life for this stuff. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's sort of about. So it'll be an interesting evening. And the Biden debate was a very interesting evening. I was sort of surprised by it a little bit, by, you know, what he did and the way he reacted. And you don't know how somebody's going to react. Even a professional, you don't know how they're going to react. And you have to sort of go with it as you get up there, Sean. I'd love to give you an answer. This is what I'm going to do, Sean. But when you get up there, you sort of, because I've done a lot of it. I went from never having debated to having done a lot of debates.
But if you know she's going to try and annoy you, but that's
well, I think we have a bigger problem. I think that ABC will try and annoy him.
I bet that too.
Okay.
President Donald Trump. Thank you, Harrisburg.
All right. Yeah, that, I mean, that was really, I liked that. That was much better, in my opinion. That was much, much better than, that was much better, in my opinion, than the first half, the part that aired last night. I liked seeing that back and forth between just the small folk, right? Just started watching House of the Dragon season 2, so that's where that phrase just came from. But you guys hitting it on point in the chat about the military. I agree with his statement about the generals on the ground, the real generals. That was a great distinction that Trump just made. The real generals, the ones that are actually on the ground making moves. But the leadership, all right, the ones that are, you know, officers and have maybe never even seen combat, that get, you know, accolade after accolade and get their, you know, shoes polished and get all the little badges. And did they really, like, some of the people that end up in leadership, they are put there to push the woke ideology, to push the messaging. Therapy Range, you brought up a great point about people being forced out of the military for not taking the fucking jabs. The damn Fauci shot. Unacceptable. And Trump has come out and said that those people should be able to be reinstated or should get back pay, I believe. Heads should roll metaphorically for what has happened at the leadership, as far as the leadership is concerned in the military. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, when you have this sucks, guys, but a clip from Hurricane Katrina, where I guess they instituted martial law or something, and there was a mandatory evacuation, and they were going around from house to house. And I think it was the mayor said, you will not be allowed to be armed. And they were interviewing a soldier, and the soldier said, it's a messed up situation where you could be confronted around the corner with an American. And the reporter said, and you might have to draw on an American. And that soldier said, yes, fuck that, you dirty, pathetic dog. As a soldier, from what I understand, you are supposed to be, I don't know, strong in your adherence to the Constitution. When you're given an unconstitutional or unlawful order, aren't you supposed to say no? But they acted like good fucking dogs, and they were going around, and it was crazy. I watched this clip. This guy said, well, I guess they didn't like that our guns were bigger than theirs, so they took them. For a storm. Mandatory evacuation, okay. Here's the thing. Those people, if you want to stay, you want to face the storm, that's your own fucking problem. And if you end up in trouble, don't expect the state to come help you, in my opinion. That's your own decision. You're an American, you can make a stupid decision like that. But the fact that they were going around and rounding people up and taking their fucking weapons, excuse the fuck out of me, but hell no. I think nowadays people are not going to respond very kindly to something like that.
I think nowadays, I think there's going to be a lot of spent brass when a situation like that arises. Let's hope it doesn't. But when you are met with violence, you're damn right you can defend yourself. And as far as I'm concerned, an occupying force that was the military coming in and taking your weapons, fuck y'all. You asked for the brass. Not okay. Not okay. There are so many people that end up in law enforcement or the military that do just take the order. And that's inexcusable when it's an unconstitutional law or unconstitutional edict. A tyrannical approach to the citizenry cannot be allowed. And if you are in the military, you have to respect the Constitution. If they tell you to stand on your head in a corner for 30 minutes, that's not okay. You don't just bark like a dog when they tell you to bark. If it is unconstitutional, if it is unlawful, then you say no. But too many will just take that order and do what they are told like a good fucking dog. And that's not okay. So I love that Trump, the vast majority, I think, of the military, the vast majority absolutely is not woke. But when you have the leadership constantly hitting the soldiers with this training, this woke ideology, this self-hating white, this, you've got to self-flagellate as much as you can to pay your debt in blood for the damage of your ancestors to the poor disadvantaged populations. That's that fucking weak shit. Weak, in my opinion. Just disgustingly weak. And they're controlling policy, okay? So they might not be the ones on the ground, the solid generals, but they are affecting the damn tenor. They're affecting the ones they let in. They're affecting the ones that they keep in. They're affecting the ones that they allow to promote. If you're an America First individual that actually gives a shit about the Constitution and the military, are they allowing you to get to the levels of a General Milley? I don't know. I haven't been in the military. And I've got military friends, so I need to have some deep conversations with them. Like my brother was in the Guard, wasn't serving overseas or nothing like that. He did, building bridges and schools and stuff like that. And of course, helping with the Missouri disasters. But, man, it is just, the woke mind virus is very contagious. And there are people in the military, and I've had some distant family that have been in the Navy and stuff like that, and just other branches. Just because you served doesn't mean you're a good person. I appreciate your service, and if you served honorably, God bless you for that. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to excuse you for being a piece of shit. It might be a hot take, but it doesn't wash away a horrible ideology or a horrible personality. Military service is absolutely commendable and deserves our respect for that, but that doesn't wash away the negatives associated with that individual. That's my opinion. If you don't like that, well, I think you're kind of adopting a boomer mentality of just because the uniform, just because the black robe, just because the white robe. All right? Appeal to authority. That's what that is. Not good. It's case-by-case basis. I think the vast majority of our military absolutely gives a shit about this country. I think the vast majority of our law enforcement does give a shit and wants the best for that. But here's the thing. A lot of the good ones don't want to be cops anymore. A lot of the good ones don't want to go into the military. So you end up left with the scraps in some cases. I'm not saying all cases, but would I be comfortable with my son in 17 years? Would I be comfortable with my son? The current state of the military, would I support his decision to join the armed forces right now? Fuck no. Absolutely not. Maybe in 17 years, maybe that'll change. I pray that it does. Because if my son gets older and that's something that he wanted to do, God bless him. I don't know. I don't know. If I offended anybody with my statements, well, welcome to America. You can be offended. Got a little bit ranty there. I need to get the rant meter icon. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this time, damn it. Rant meter. I actually wrote down woke military because Trump's got a good a pure perspective on the military, and he's right in a lot of ways. The fact is though, those in leadership can control the chess pieces in certain aspects, and it ends up degrading our military. Whew, man. You guys been going though. You guys been going in chat. Sorry if I missed anything important. I try to keep up with you guys. So thank you guys so much for participating, for getting after it. Been having a good time so far, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. We have we're at 2.5 hours. Excuse me. We are at 2.5 hours. We do have one more story. Talking about the Georgia shooting, I guess. Say the line, FBI. Say the line. Speaking of, here's a transition. Speaking of those in authority positions or those in law enforcement positions that don't necessarily deserve our respect just because they were in law enforcement, let's look at this statement from the FBI. Let's look at this statement. And I'm not going to say the guy's name, the shooter's name, because I do not believe in perpetuating them. I do not believe in saying their name over and over again, because that's what a lot of them want. A lot of them want the fame. A lot of them want the notoriety that comes with doing something so fucking evil and heinous. And I'm not going to do it if I can avoid it. I'm not going to show his picture. I'm not going to say his name. If his name is in this thing that I pull up, my apologies. But the FBI, speaking of there was a shooting yesterday. 2 teachers, 2 students were killed, 9 others injured, I believe. And here's something interesting that you might not have heard yet, guys. Guess who stopped the shooter? Guess who stopped the shooter? A good guy with a gun. In my opinion, there should have been 2 or 3 more good guys with guns. Maybe they could have stopped it even quicker. Maybe, I don't know, the fact that there was a warning, somebody called in that morning and said that Appalachia School was going to be the start of it and 5 other schools were going to face shootings. Maybe that would indicate that those schools should have been, I don't know, class canceled for the whole day, right? Maybe. Maybe, just maybe, that would have been a good idea. But they let the kids come to school anyways. Sorry, there's a terroristic threat. Your kids should stay home. The school fucked up on that one. Or whoever didn't communicate the threat. Jesus. Let me see real quick. I have a comment here from Mama Mac. Mama Mac says, I come from a heavy military family and would not support our son joining. All the forced vaccines, going to mRNA, anthrax jab, fighting overseas in wars I don't support, etc. It's a shame. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I can't support. I mean, it's honorable for sure. And God bless anybody who does join and anybody who's serving. Fucking hats off to you. Thank you for doing that. But man, it sucks. It sucks that you can't have faith in the military, faith in the mission. I just, it's a sad state, but it can get better, and I think it will. If we can bring those woke bastards to heel. Last administration, Trump tried to get troops out of Syria, and they lied to him about how many troops were left there. Isn't that treasonous? I mean, there's a consequence for that shit, and I'm not seeing it. And I think that's the reason that it's allowed to perpetuate, is because there are no consequences for this bullcrap. So you said, Mama Matt goes on to say, Dad was a Marine in Nam, saw firsthand what he suffered for going to war. That shouldn't be taken lightly, and our government just doesn't care. Sure as hell seems like that, Mama Mac. Sure as hell seems like that. The institutions have deemed themselves to be untrustworthy. Yep. Yep. Got to flex my rant muscle there for a minute, y'all. Got to flex my rant muscle. It happened. It happened. All right, let's pull this statement up. We're talking about the Georgia shooting. Thoughts and prayers with the family. Because you know what? As much as the media wants to tell you that they don't matter, that they don't make a difference, thoughts and prayers absolutely make a difference. Praying for the families, praying that they find the ability in their time of sorrow and grief to think about the happy times that they had with their lost loved ones, that they're able to celebrate their lost loved ones' lives. I think that is a good thing, and I pray with my whole heart that they can do so. Should never lose a child. And the teachers that were trying to protect their students, I mean, you're heroes. You're heroes. So, somebody who's not heroes, the FBI. Let's bring this statement up from the Atlanta division. FBI Atlanta division. FBI Atlanta responded earlier today to Appalachia High School following reports of an active shooter. Throughout the day, FBI personnel have been coordinating with and supporting local and state law enforcement. The FBI will dedicate all available resources, as requested, to seek justice and bring closure for the victims and their families. In May 2023, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center received several anonymous tips about online threats to commit a school shooting at an unidentified location and time. The online threats contained photographs of guns. Within 24 hours, the FBI determined the online post originated in Georgia, and the FBI's Atlanta field office referred the information to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office for action. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office located a possible suspect, a 13-year-old male, and interviewed him and his father. The father stated he had hunting guns in the house, but the subject did not have unsupervised access to them. The subject denied making threats online. Jackson County alerted local schools for continued monitoring of the subject. At that time, there was no probable cause for arrest or to take any additional law enforcement action on the local, state, or federal levels. Say the fucking line, Fed boys. He was on our radar. God bless. God bless. It just keeps happening, doesn't it, y'all? They were aware of him. They were aware of the crazy. They let this shit happen. Lie hop, y'all. Lie hop like a mother. I get tired of seeing it. I know y'all do too. If they were so useful, I'm not saying that you prosecute thought crimes. I'm not saying that. Don't get it twisted. But what I am saying is if somebody has issued a threat, like this kid did a year ago, back in 2023, maybe be proactive. Get in and get this kid some help or some restrictions. The story that I saw recently that the father has been charged. Now, here he said he didn't have unfettered access. That's what the statement says from the FBI right there. Apparently, things changed. Apparently, this 14-year-old had unfettered access to the AR or whatever weapon he used. I think I saw that it was reported that it was an AR. Apparently they're charging him now. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, if the father was negligent, and knew that this kid had issues, apparently he did. The FBI was called to check on him. So at that point, yeah, you probably need to have your guns in a safe and have it locked away from him. But I mean, like, if it was a normal 14-year-old, I mean, I'm kind of a country guy. I had my rifle, my shotgun, my weapons in my gun cabinet that I built when I was in high school. Like, I brought it home. Where'd my guns go? They went in my gun cabinet. But I wasn't insane, technically. I wasn't homicidal, unless you're a, deer. It's not homicide then. That's just wanting to kill deer. I think it can be a slippery slope when you're blaming the parents. I know there was one, a shooting up in the Northwest. I can't remember what state it was, but the parents were found guilty. I think of involuntary manslaughter or something like that, because they weren't proactive. They knew the kid had issues and they didn't keep their guns away from him, something like that. I don't know all the details, but I know that it's a slippery slope. They weren't the ones that did it. So the jury found him guilty, and I guess they had enough evidence to do so. But yeah. Oh. Yeah. And they're already using this shooting. They're already using it to try to take away guns. Before the bodies were even cold, Karine Jean-Pierre was on talking about all the leftist wet dreams to take away weapons. They're going to use it. Like I said, all of the Tranifesto comes out where this individual, Audrey Hale, was a raging leftist lunatic in their will. They wanted to make sure their stuffed animals, their stuffies, were taken care of. This individual had simulated the stuffies doing anal things, talked about in heaven she was going to have male genitalia. You aren't going to heaven. You got Toy Story dolled. You got Woodied. You guys have seen the video. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The flop. Not sorry. You deserve every bit of criticism and mockery in your literal last moments, because you are a disgusting creature. And the Tranifesto comes out a few days later, another school shooting right near an election, right? So that they can have another one. They can have another talking point to try to ban assault weapons. Assault weapons. Idiots. They know, though. They know. Most of these people, the ones that are in power and can affect things, they're malicious. They're not stupid. They know. They're just evil. That's my opinion. And I'm not saying I'm perfect or nothing like that. But when you see what some of these people get after and what movements they get behind, they're absolutely evil, in my opinion. This right here. This right here. Whose guns do all these criminals use, and are those people put in jail for having their guns stolen? They would try. I mean, hell, they freaking went after gun manufacturers. They went after gun manufacturers for shootings. I don't understand how that was even entertained by a court. How? I think, was it Browning or Remington? I think Remington faced a lawsuit, and I think they lost. I think it was civil, though. Civil's preponderance of the evidence of 51% instead of beyond a reasonable doubt. There can be no doubt in a criminal case. Civil cases, you can get away with some stuff that honestly shouldn't be allowed. Some of these civil cases end up broaching criminal issues, and I think you end up with problems when you're doing that. I don't know. Oh my God. Paul McGroin responded with, here in Washington State, you have to report any stolen gun within a reasonable time, or you can be charged with the crime if used in one. Holy shit. I guess like a duty to report? What if you don't know? What if you're unaware that your weapon was stolen? What if you were away from home and someone broke into your house, got in your safe, got your guns, took off and shot somebody in the head? Is that going to be on you? Does it depend on the fucking jury, how woke the jury is? No. Slippery slope. You tell me that it's a fallacy. I point out the Rainbow Mafia. First, it was just, we want to be treated the same. We want to be able to marry who we want to marry. And now you got a Blue's Clues clip from 2 years ago that has literal gay frogs. Actually made a TikTok, my first stitch on TikTok. Yes, I downloaded the damn app. I figure that our own government spies on us enough as it is. do I really give that much of a shit if the Chi-Coms are spying on me too? I mean, they probably already get you through Temu or various other apps. So honestly, it's an avenue. It's an avenue. I am on TikTok, by the way. If you guys have TikTok, Bulldozer74 there. I've got a few videos, not many. I do repost things, but I did my first stitch. It was in response to that video, the Blues Clues, the gay parade with the drag queen singing very fruity notes, we should say. The slippery slope is real. It's not a fallacy. It happens. Oh, what was it that? Oh, the second comment. Verbiage says it's 5 days within reasonable discovery. That could be again, it's too vague. What is it? Void for vagueness. It's one of the things I guess I hear the law tubers or the YouTube lawyers say. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, Sliant? Got any illegals? They just get their guns. Not like we ever had an administration in the past that had an operation called Fast and Furious, right? Just saying. Just saying. Crime of so felony. Well, I mean, armed criminal action against somebody, shooting them, that would be considered a felony. I don't know. That is ridiculous, though, that you have states where that could be the case. There are states, I think, where you do have a duty to retreat. Here in Missouri, we have the castle doctrine, which actually extends to your car or your person outside of your house. You can do what is necessary to protect your castle if you feel that your castle is under threat. God bless Missouri. It's a good state. I enjoy it. There are better states in some aspects. There are worse states in a lot of aspects. One thing I like, I think Oklahoma doesn't have a property tax, if I'm not mistaken. So that's one thing I like about Oklahoma. But they do have toll roads. So you got your pros and your cons. Don't have an article really to pull up for the shooting. Just kind of wanted to point out that the FBI usually is aware of these individuals and they usually let this stuff happen. And a lot of the times they might actually instigate terrorist plots or activities. Kind of like they might have done with the whole Gretchen Whitmer thing, right? A bunch of those, 12 out of the 15 were informants or actual agents. The kidnapping plot of it's Michigan Governor Whitmer, right? Yeah, it's the Hegelian dialectic. You create more of the problem and then scream about the problem and then say, you're actually the one causing the issue, but you're perpetuating it so that you continue to about it and say, oh, we're such good boys and girls. Look at what we did. We stopped this. Well, you're the one that started it. You're the firefighter lighting the damn fire and then coming in and putting it out and going, you should thank me and pay me more now. Give me bucks. Give me bucks because I am worthy of it. No, you're not. Not if you're the one that was creating the issue in the first place. Ooh. End up losing your firearms rights because somebody stole your weapon. It's not okay. It's not okay. Well, all right. We had some dark stories. We did. Now, since we've got all the 4 news stories out of the way, let's delve into our last couple topics. We have a clip from Eric Weinstein. We're not going to play the 15-minute clip, partially because of time, partially because it probably doesn't hit as succinctly as this 4-minute and 40-second clip. Oh, no. Don't know if you guys heard that yet or not, but we're going to share this. I need to figure out what this podcast is. I feel bad. MW, probably pretty easy to look up. But Eric Weinstein, this is a gray pill, all right? And then we're going to end on a high note with Trump's stance on marijuana. I'll let it play. And then kind of give my perspective on why I think it's actually a good thing that this is a conversation that was had. So let's share this. It's got subtitles for you if you need to listen with the audio low or anything.
You said, what are the odds that Joe Biden has a debilitating event between now and November, including death? So he runs a 1 in 20 chance of dying in any given year or above, that I don't think you know whether he's even going to make it to November. Debilitating event could have been a debilitating public event.
I purposely left it vague, and I didn't say the other part of it, which I now feel comfortable saying, which is I don't know whether Donald Trump will be allowed to become president.
What do you mean by that?
Modern wisdom. There it is, right there.
I think that there's a remarkable story, and we're in a funny...
Actually, you might not be able to see that because my picture is blocking it. But I think this podcast is Modern Wisdom. Worth checking out. I didn't even know this was a podcast, so glad to have happened upon it.
A game, which is, are we allowed to say what that story is? Because to say it, to analyze it, to name it, is to bring it into view. I think we don't understand why the censorship is behaving the way it is. We don't understand why it's in the shadows. We don't understand why our news is acting in a bizarre fashion. So let's just set the stage, given that that was in February. There is something that I think Mike Benz has just referred to as the rules-based international order. It's an interlocking series of agreements, tacit understandings, explicit understandings, clandestine understandings about how the most important structures keep the world free of war and keep markets open. And there has been a system in place, whether understood explicitly or behind the scenes or implicitly, it says that the purpose of the two American parties is to prune the field of populist candidates. So,
thank you so much for hanging out this whole stream, Mama Mac. Get you some rest. I know you've been washing those dishes and working hard, so rest well, Mama Mac.
So that whatever two candidates exist in a face-off are both acceptable to that world order. So what you're trying to do from the point of view, let's take it from the point of view of, let's say, the State Department, the intelligence community, the Defense Department, and major corporations that have to do with international issues, from arms trade to, I don't know, food. They have a series of agreements that are fragile and could be overturned if a president entered the Oval Office who didn't agree with them, and the mood of the country was, why do we pay taxes into these structures? Why are we hamstrung? Why aren't we a free people? So what the two parties would do is that they would run primaries. You'd have populist candidates, and you'd pre-commit the populist candidates to support the candidates who won the primaries. As long as that took place and you had two candidates that were both acceptable to the international order, that is, that they aren't going to rethink NAFTA or NATO.
International order, guys. What is that? Globalist New World Order?
Or what have you. We called that democracy. And so democracy was the illusion of choice, what's called magician's choice, where the choice is not actually, pick a card, any card, but somehow the magician makes sure that the card that you pick is the one that he knows. In that situation, you have magician's choice in the primaries, and then you'd have the duopoly field, two candidates, either of which was acceptable, and you could actually afford to hold an election. And the populace would vote, and that way the international order wasn't put at risk every 4 years, because you can't have alliances that are subject to the whim of the people in plebiscites. So under that structure, everything was going fine until 2016. And then the first candidate ever to not hold any position in the military nor position in government in the history of the Republic to enter the Oval Office, Donald Trump, broke through the primary structure. So then there was a full court press. Okay, we only have one candidate that's acceptable to the international order. Donald Trump will be under constant pressure that he's a loser, he's a wild man, he's an idiot, and he's under the control of the Russians. And then he was going to be a 20-1 underdog, and then he wins. And there was no precedent for this. They learned their lesson. You cannot afford to have candidates who are not acceptable to the international order and continue to have these alliances. This is an unsolved problem.
So that could seem a little bit dark. That could seem why Dozer? Why Bill Dozer? Why are you putting this at the end of your stream as a white pill? Here's why. Here's my positive spin on that. The fact that somebody with so much attention is actually bringing this to the forefront and talking about it uninhibited. You mentioned you were scared to say it. We can't say it because if we acknowledge it, it's real. People are slowly pulling the covers away from their eyes and acknowledging the monster under the bed. They're acknowledging it. This trickle, this slow evolution where people aren't as scared to talk about it, to acknowledge the global international order that influences this country and every other country's politics. There are powerful elites that do affect the board to achieve whatever nefarious goals they may have. And I think a lot of it is to pit us against each other. And sometimes I fall prey to this. I do. But yes, Alex, yes, Sliant, I absolutely. Alex Jones said this years ago. Eric Weinstein is not Alex Jones. Okay? And God bless, all hail the frog prophet. Praise be upon him. But the fact that more moderate voices are saying these things now, they've caught up. They've caught up. Because we were talking about how they've overplayed their hand, the left overplayed their hand with the whole Arlington thing. I think that the global elites have overplayed their hand to a point where moderates, independents, normies, even the normies are able to acknowledge the fuckery afoot. It's been there. People like me, people like y'all watching, you guys have been awake to this. The normies are starting to notice. And when the normies are noticing and the population in general can rise up against it, they don't hold the power that they think they do. There are far, far more of us than there are of them. And if enough people say this is enough, well, they can't do shit. It might suck for a bit, and they may thrash about, and there may be gnashing of teeth and wringing of hands from the global elites as they're clinging to power. But if we get the bull in the china shop that we need, that we kind of missed out on with the first term of Trump. There were in certain ways he was, but in other ways, he was sedated. They sedated the lion. And part of this, I think, was with threats. Part of this was with manipulation. Now he knows, like he said earlier. Trump said, now he knows. So this is why I say it is a white pill. It is a positive highlight. People are acknowledging this stuff, and they are willing to talk about it without fear that they will be labeled a nut job. Because the evidence is so goddamn clear that you can't help but call it out for what it is. So that's why I say this is a positive thing, and that's why I included it at the end. To end on an even higher note, let's go to the Lex Friedman podcast. And let me scroll to the correct point here. Oh, don't you do it. Let me see. No, don't you do that. No, just a moment. Let me get it to where I need it. If you guys haven't followed the channel, I did see we're up to 364 followers here on Rumble. Thank you so much to the 2 new followers. Haven't really checked to see who you were yet, but much appreciated. If you haven't followed the channel, give it a follow. We're creeping up on 400. Much appreciated. And my goodness, you think I would have had this queued up a little bit better. Let me find it. We will be at 24 minutes and 52 seconds. All right. And there we go. All right. So let's end this on a high note. I'm going to share this clip from the Lex Friedman podcast. I have not watched this whole thing yet. I still need to do so because it is very policy heavy. They have timestamps, actually. Lex Friedman does. So good on him for doing that, because that helps me with this this little segment we're going to do here. Trump on marijuana. A little bit of the psychedelics. People get a little bit of high. It happens. Ooh, I will check that out, Paul McGroin. Thank you for putting the actual text of the law in the comments window. If you guys are curious about the Washington state law about when someone steals your weapon and what weird responsibility you have for somebody's illegal actions after they steal your weapon, it's in the comments. Good on you, Paul McGroin. Appreciate you.
I purposely haven't read it because I want to say to you, I have
2025.
no idea what it's all about. It's easier than saying I read it and, you know, all of the things. No, I purposely haven't read it. And I've heard about it. I've heard about things that are in there that
give it a minute and it'll get to this.
I don't like.
The
And
high
there's some
spot.
things in there that everybody would like.
He's right.
But there are things that I don't like at all. And I think it's unfortunate that they put it out, but it doesn't mean anything because it has nothing to do with me. Project 25 has absolutely nothing to do with me.
You posted recently about marijuana and that you're okay with it being legalized, but it has to be done safely. Can you explain your policy there?
Well, I just put out a paper. And first of all, medical marijuana has been amazing. It's been, I've had friends and I've had others and doctors telling me that it's been absolutely amazing, the medical marijuana. And we put out a statement that we can live with the marijuana. It's got to be a certain age, to buy it. It's got to be done in a very concerted, lawful way. And the way they're doing it in Florida, I think, is going to be actually good. It's going to be very good. But it's got to be done in a good way. It's got to be done in a clean way. You go into some of these places, like in New York, it smells all marijuana. You can't, you've got to have a system where there's control. And I think the way they've done it in Florida is very good.
Do you know anything about psychedelics? So I'm not a drug guy, but I recently did ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that speak to sort of the health benefits and the spiritual benefits of these different psychedelics.
Right.
I think we would probably have a better world if everybody in Congress took some mushrooms, perhaps. Now I know you stay away from all of that stuff. I know also veterans use it for dealing with PTSD and all that kind of stuff. So it's great, and it's interesting that you're thinking about being more accepting of some of these drugs, which don't just have a recreational purpose, but a medical purpose, a treatment purpose.
So we put out a statement today. We're going to put out another one probably next week, be more specific, although I think it's pretty specific. And we'll see how that all goes. That's a referendum coming up in some states, but it's coming up, and we'll see how it does. I will say it's been very hard to beat it. You take a look at the numbers, it's been very hard to beat it. So I think it'll generally pass, but you want to do it in a safe way.
Speaking of marijuana, let me ask you about my good
All right. Then he goes on to talk about Joe Rogan, and they had their little thing where he was ribbing Joe and all that, and there was the confusion about RFK. But yeah, that great progress from the Republican, quote unquote, because Donald Trump's an independent, guys. He was a Democrat for the longest time. He's one of like your more old school liberals in a lot of ways. That is a great thing for so many people that have been unjustly imprisoned for a little bit of weed, for people that have used it for medicinal purposes, or God forbid, even people that want to use it like people use alcohol and chill with a few drinks in the evening to relax at home. The fact that Trump is coming out and supporting legalization, and I know this current administration, Trump last administration signaled a desire to change the scheduling. This administration, the Biden-Harris administration, has indicated a similar perspective, but they haven't done anything yet, have they? And are they making this something that they're going to put in their platform, a plank in their platform? Sounds like Trump's going to come out with an official policy on this, an official statement, and a more fleshed out policy proposal, perhaps. Excellent progress, and progress in the good way, not the progressive way. So there's our two little kind of high notes, pun intended there for the last one for sure. So what do we talk about today, guys? First of all, thank you so much to everybody on the few people that were watching on YouTube, the over 60 people at one point, currently I guess now 61 people that have been watching on X. I think we had over 45, close to 50 people watching on Rumble at one point. Awesome that you chose to take time out of your evening to spend it with me and the other people in the chat. To my lurkers out there, I see you even though you may not be commenting, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the views. If you guys want to help me continue to do this on a weekly and eventually more than once a weekly basis, share it out, like it, comment, tell your friends about the dozer. I sincerely enjoyed this stream tonight. What did we talk about today? So, first, we talked about Marussia, the big bad boogeyman, with TENET Media and Lauren Chen. Read off Tim Pool's comment and his a little bit of spice there at the end after a very, very professional and lawyerly, lengthy statement. We then went to talk about the Undercover, Mug Club Undercover, where they got a candid conversation with somebody with the Southern District of New York, the Department of Justice. I think chief of, his name was Biasi, chief of public affairs, I think. Pretty much just putting it out there that the lawfare against Trump is real and it's not okay. Masculine Cargo 7 Games. Thank you so much for commenting. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat. So, give you a little bit of this. Just Pepsi Zero, by the way. No alcohol in this this styrofoam cup. Thank you so much, Masculine Cargo 7 Games. Not lurking, just working. Thanks for having content during my swing shift bulldozer. You are very welcome, JJR. Thank you for listening. So we talked about TENET. We talked about the undercover work from Mug Club. We then went into the town hall with Sean Hannity, good old Wallbanger. It's great to see Trump mingling with the people and just kind of going back and forth. That's great to see that. Great to see him. It humanizes him, and that's what's needed. We then discussed the Georgia shooting. Got a little dark stuff there. We had a bit of a rant about the military stuff with the woke stuff. Had to get it out. Take it for what it is. That's just my opinion. You can disagree. That's just fine. Or if you agree, that's okay too. We then had our happier or white pills of the stream, where we played the clip from Eric Weinstein, where he called out the international order. He called it New World Order, globalist elites. Many different names, same theme. And then we ended on a high note, pun intended, with Trump talking to, good Lord, Lex Friedman. Horrible with names this evening. Might be getting a little bit tired. It's not like it's almost 1 a.m. here in Missouri. But we then played the little clip from the Lex Friedman podcast with Donald Trump talking about marijuana legalization. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you have not followed the channel, follow me here at BillDozer74. I am at BillDozer74 on Rumble. I'm same at Truth Social. Gab. I'm on Minds. That one I need to change my name on that because that's just not a good name. Probably a little bit hard to find, but I'll try to figure out how to change my name there. I stream every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central. We talk about stuff and things here. We talk about stuff and things. I will see you guys next Thursday at 9:30 p.m. To anybody who donated or subscribed, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me that anybody would want to help me out to continue to provide information in an entertaining way. Again, thank you so much for watching tonight. I will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good one. Wait, real quick, JJR. The Bulldozer. There you go. There you go. Since you asked. See you guys. Y'all have a good one.